This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Good morning. Hey, yes, sir. We are ready to rock and roll. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Ready to rock on a beautiful Monday. Hope you guys are hanging in there. You're safe, which is the most important thing as we try to get through another day with the fight against the coronavirus. And hopefully you had a nice, safe weekend as always. Bill, how you doing?
We're doing good, man. Easter Sunday was, other than the numbers, okay, it was immediate. Easter Sunday was Easter Sunday.
Yes.
I got my Russell
it was nice and
Stover's.
calm too.
I got my Russell Stover's chocolate bunny from my mom. It's tradition, goes back to 3, 2, whatever. We all get them still. No baskets, just the Russell Stover's solid chocolate, milk chocolate. Yeah. We had spiral ham, homemade potato salad.
Okay.
Usual Easter, just a little smaller than usual.
Nice and calm, and only a few idiots were gathered around the country, which obviously they couldn't hold themselves from doing stupid things, but it is what it is, and including Dak Prescott, obviously, over the weekend, who was another moron, part of all of that, and we'll get to that. We got a lot of things to talk about, and by the way, another milestone thanks to all of you out there. Last week, we crossed 1 million downloads in 7 months. We've been at this YouTube thing for about 5 or 6, I think it is. And we had, in the last month, we had 1 million minutes viewed in the last month. 1,017,958 minutes were viewed in the last 30 days. So thanks to all of you out there that are watching us live like you are right now. listening and watching it later on YouTube or on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, however it is that you support us. But, the support just continues to grow and grow and grow. And we are really, really blessed for that. So thank you so much for keeping it going here. I was just absolutely floored when I saw those stats. And
Oh, when you said that to me in a million, I'm like, wait a minute. Hold, okay.
18,000 hours last month. And the last month, 18,000 hours on our show. So that is
Y'all are impressive.
very, very impressive and very blessed to have all of that. So thank you all, because it's you guys obviously making it happen for us. And listen, this is the way that we can all create something for all of us. Have the sports talk that South Florida deserves. Have a show that has some balls and is going to call it like you see it, and no politics. That's the good thing, that we're eliminating the corporations that want to control what you say and what you do and all that. And you're seeing it in all forms of media. I mean, give me a break. It's obvious. I mean, we have networks that are which is embarrassing, by the way. Networks that are slanting to just one side, which is just sad. Really is.
Wasn't there a law or like you had to give equal time back in the day?
You have to
What-
be well, no,
right?
I mean, that's how I grew up in the business, that you have to be objective about it, and call it like you see it, but it's just not the way it is. It's not the way of the world.
Thank you, Fox.
It's kind of like, when I have my conversations with my daughter sometimes about life, and she's like, no, that won't happen, and this won't. Oh, no, people are not that cruel. And then I have to remind her and show her examples of how cruel people are, and then she's like, okay, stop reminding me, that kind of stuff. So it happens. What are you going to do? But really, again, thank you to all, because our we've built it up on the download side, and now the kind of this whole YouTube thing. I mean, this is all kind of new to me too, man, because I've been doing radio for 30 years, just regular radio. You know what I mean? And I still do stuff with Sirius, but this whole going on our own and doing everything and the downloads and the YouTube and all this stuff, and it's something that we can do nowadays that I couldn't do 5-10 years ago. And so it's kind of learning on the fly about all this stuff too. So, and it's really important to get what we're getting, the results we're getting, because this is how we're going to be able to sustain this and hopefully do this for a long time, and give you guys the sports talk that you deserve. And next week, by the way, we are going to be loaded up, and it's going to be draft intensive like you've never heard. And so we will be well prepared next week for the week of all weeks for us, right? Because now we're in the we're in the deep end now. We've only got a little over a week left. No,
Yeah, I would say we've already turned the quarter pole,
Yeah.
and we're running down the straight to the finish line.
Yeah, this is we are less than a week from Thursday from the draft. So looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a bunch of things to talk about. Got a couple of guests today that are going to stop by. Connor Folk is going to join us at 12:30. My buddy that covers the XFL, but unfortunately won't be covering the XFL anymore because they folded on Friday, and they were that news was breaking like towards the second half of our show, and really couldn't get into it. So we'll get into it over with Connor at 12:30. Dave Burkett's going to join us. He's the Lions writer for the Detroit Free Press, one of the best Lions writers out there, and he knows the team inside and out. So we'll talk to him about what he thinks the Lions are going to try to do at 3. And there's talk about Miami, and we can start right there with Miami. And you know what I love about all of this, and I think you should be proud of this if you're a Dolphins fan, is that people really don't know what the hell the Dolphins are doing. And one week you hear them interested in Tua, another week they're interested in Herbert, another week it's, well, they didn't have a good interview with Tua because they were kind of serious with him and weren't buddy-buddy. And, it's just what I love is that you really have no idea what the Dolphins are doing. And so it's this is an enormous positive, right? Now, in the end, they've got to make the right decision. But what is the right decision? You know, it's easy for anybody to say take Tua. It's easy for anybody to say trade up for Tua. But then when Tua breaks down, what are those people going to say after that? They're going to say, well, you're an idiot for trading up for Tua. You're an idiot for drafting Tua. The same people. They're not going to go out and say, well, the Dolphins did what I wanted them to do. So I can't complain. They're not going to say that. They're going to rip the team and they're going to say, same old Dolphin. But wait a minute. You're part of the people that wanted Tua. And then Herbert, right? Herbert's got all the physical tools because that's what you can brag about, the physical tools. But then you got the mental makeup that you've got to work on. And it's almost, we've talked about this in the past. I'm not a fan that if you have a top 10 pick, I'm really not a fan of taking a project at top 10. And Herbert, I feel, is a project for sure. But isn't Tua also a project? Because he's not a project as a passer, because I think he's the most accomplished passer in the draft and he's the most accurate passer in the draft. But he's a project because can he stay healthy? And that's the question that everybody asks everybody else. That's the question that all these teams are asking themselves. That's the question that when the general manager and the head coach and the owner sit down, they're going to say, okay, great kid, but what are we going to do about all these injuries? I mean, we need a quarterback, but this guy can't be our quarterback if he's going to constantly be injured, right? And that's where you have to ask yourself as a Dolphin fan, do you want to take pick number 5 with a big question mark? Or do you know what I mean? Because if the Dolphins say, well, we hear at number 5 next Thursday, we hear with the number 5 overall pick, the Miami Dolphins have selected Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, there's going to be a part of you that's going to say, all right. And then there's a part of you that's going to sit back and go, man, I hope he can stay healthy. And that part, and listen, you could try to kid yourself all you want. You could try to fool yourself. You could try to lie to yourself. People do that all the time. But in the end, you're still lying to yourself. And you'd be lying to yourself if you tell me that you're not going to be thinking about that every second of every day, every time he takes the field, every single down. You'll be wondering, is this the down where he gets hurt? It'll be in the back of your mind. Even the people that tell you, well, you can't predict it. You can't say he's going to get injured. That he's got a history of injuries, but you can't say he's going to get injured. Even those people that are lying to themselves, they're going to say, man, every time he gets tackled, you're going to cringe. You get Justin Herbert, right away, most people are going to hate the pick. Very few people are going to like the pick. Very, very, very few people. I haven't met a lot of Dolphin fans that say, I want Justin Herbert. I really haven't. And so then you get another guy now that one's even worse because this one you don't even think can play. That's the screwed up part. Tua, you feel like he can play. You're convinced that he can pass at this level. You're convinced that his intelligence is more than enough at this level. You're convinced that his character is fantastic in a locker room. You're convinced about a lot of things, but then the one thing you can't be convinced about is his health. So the question you have to ask yourself, Dolphins, at number 5, if you take Brown or if you take Wirfs or if you take, a positional player, you're going to feel pretty damn good about that positional player. They take Becton, you're going to go, oh, crap, they got themselves a stud lineman. Because there's a couple of guys that are kind of labeled like you can't miss with those guys. And I know it's not as sexy as the quarterback, but it convinces you that you made the right pick, that you improved your team right away. Remember, the other thing is when you draft Tua, he's not going to take the field right away. Nobody, even if we do play football starting in September, they're not starting him in September because he's not healthy enough yet to take a hit. Okay? Steinberg and company, they've done a phenomenal job of selling him or overselling him, however you want to label it. They've done their job. But they've done their job of selling that he can go and throw a couple times and practice with it, but he's not ready to take hits. There's no way that hip is prepared to the point that it's ready to take hits. And by the way, we don't even know if he can take hits. So these are all the things. And mind you, you draft a kid. How about if you're halfway through the year and he doesn't play yet? And, you drafted the guy. You still don't know if he's the guy. Half the year's gone by, and you still don't know if he can last. You're wondering, okay, is he going to stay healthy? And the second he takes the field. And what about if we have a shortened season? You know you're going to play Fitz. You're not going to throw the kid to the fire right away because, again, that doesn't make any sense. Plus, you've got to, whatever lineman you draft and all, you need to settle that offensive line first and foremost before you even put the kid out there. Because you saw Fitz take a beating. How many of you out there think that Tua would last the beating that Fitzpatrick took last year? At 38 years old, Ryan Fitzpatrick is more durable than a 20-year-old quarterback. And I know 99.9% of you were like, yeah, no, if he does what Fitz did last year, they break him in half. Because they would. They would. So that's what you have to think about. Be objective about it, okay? Think about all the scenarios that are coming. And it's almost like hitting a lotto that he's going to not just move over and translate to this game, but then he's also going to be able to stay healthy. And one of the things that I love the excuses people make, right? Because that's kind of what it is. It's almost like let's find a way to, justify the kid. You know what I mean? And it's, his problem is that he hangs on to the football a little too long, and that's why he's been injured. He's just got to learn how to do that. Well, injury after injury, he hasn't learned how to do that. Oh, and by the way, in the NFL, they come at you a lot faster. You have less time to think, less time to react, less time to get rid of that football. You know what I mean? So it only takes one more of those hits to dislocate that hip again, to blow out his knee, to screw up his ankle, to jam his shoulder into the ground. And he's small. He's not a big guy. And he's not a great athlete either. He's got some quick feet at times that he can shift and reshuffle and set himself up again, which is a trait. But legs itself, like he's like this Russell Wilson type.
He's more like a smooth cat.
Yeah.
He moves fluid, but not quick.
No, he's not Russell Wilson. He's not that athlete. He has some athleticism to him, but he's not a great athlete either. So that also kind of hurts him. And that's what you have to ask yourself. Do you take at 5 a guy that's got all kinds of question marks physically? Or do you take a guy that's got all kinds of question marks mentally? Or do I say, man, you know what? Let me just take one hell of a player because we're at 5, and let's plug that guy in, and let's move forward. And then down the line, we'll get another quarterback. Maybe we get Jordan Love down the line. Maybe we draft Gordon. Maybe we take James Morgan from FIU. Maybe we take the Davidson kid from Princeton. whatever. That kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a project. One of these guys in the secondary level and third level of quarterbacks, one of those guys is probably going to turn out to be a decent quarterback. You just got to pick the right one. Hell, one of those guys may end up being better than the guys you take early on, right? Just never know.
Well,
It's not like Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota worked out for both teams. I mean, neither one's on their team anymore. So obviously they were both busts. That's what ends up. Tampa, Jameis Winston becomes a complete waste and a bust. As you played him for 5 years and then you had to get rid of him. That's a bust. Mariota, same thing. And you got rid of him. Bust. So what do? Do you take the guy that's going to make you feel good about your selection right from the get-go? Oh, dude, I got Mekhi Becton. That's it. We got our left tackle. We got Thomas. We got our left tackle. We got Brown. We got a nasty defensive tackle. We got Simmons. We got a guy we can put all over the defense. I mean, Brian Flores probably ends up with an orgasm having a guy like Simmons on his team. You know what I mean? It's like you would feel good about all these players I just told you about. You would like, okay, we got ourselves a nasty mofo at whatever position I was talking about. If Jeff Okudah falls to you, which they're not going to do it because they have two of the most expensive corners in the NFL. But my point is, if you wanted to have the best secondary in the NFL and you draft Jeff Okudah, you're like, okay, now we're shutting down everybody, baby. Nobody's passing on us with those three guys, which would be kind of an interesting take. You know what I mean? It actually would be kind of interesting, but that's what I'm talking about. That at 5, you could take a guy that you're not rolling the dice pretty much. You're feeling really good about it, whereas they don't carry that kind of baggage. They're not injury prone, and they're not mentally possibly incapable, maturity of being your leader, because it's a huge responsibility to lead a football team. Enormous. And the only way your quarterback is not the leader is if your team is so freaking dominant, like Dilfer and Brad Johnson and Nick Foles were, that they didn't have to lead because they were just part of a team that was loaded and they were on a roll. So they kind of like Ben Roethlisberger, his first championship. He didn't really lead. He kind of just was, hey, kid, don't screw it up for us. We're really good. Just make a couple plays, get us the ball, don't turn it over, and we'll be just fine. Steelers won the championship. You know what I mean? We don't look at Ben Roethlisberger like Nick Foles and those kind of guys, but that's what he was in the first championship. That's why I told you that over the last 20 years, if you look at football, those things have changed. That in the last 20 years, Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Nick Foles, these are all guys that won the Super Bowl and did not do anything special in those Super Bowls. They weren't special in those Super Bowls. They were just facilitators. Everybody else carried them. Tannehill got carried to the AFC Championship game. It can be done. Hell, didn't Blake Bortles get to an AFC Championship game? Didn't they lose to the Patriots?
I believe you are correct. Yeah.
Blake Bortles.
It's
Rex
weird.
Grossman got to a Super
Bowl. It's weird because back in the day, look, we used to say it. What's the formula? You had to have a quarterback, a running game, some semblance of a run, and defense.
Definitely.
Defense, but you had to have some semblance of a running game.
Had to.
And you had to have a badass quarterback.
Usually.
You're right. It has changed.
Last
the
20
face
years.
of the NFL, it's a different animal.
Yeah, because they've figured things out. If we build up the team and we can even get a young quarterback in his first 5 years.
Stay within the parameters of the team.
Build
Don't
it up.
try to do
and
too
then
much.
The kid doesn't have to do too much. We get to a championship. We win the championship. And then we have to pay the kid. And then we're going to lose our team. You know, that's what they did with Joe Flacco. It wasn't like Joe Flacco's elite, but he played elite because he threw 11 touchdowns and no interceptions, but then they had to pay him and it was over. You know what I mean?
Another thing,
So what do? Do you take the piece that can be a building block for a championship team, or do you take the piece that is still an enormous unknown for one reason or another? That's what you have to weigh in. And then you have all those picks. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. If you just let the quarterback fall to you somewhere in the draft later on or next year, but meanwhile, you use these 14 picks, maybe 13, because maybe later on you get a quarterback, but you don't use it at 5 is what I'm saying. Somewhere later on. You let the quarterback fall to you, like I told you, but you take those 13 picks in position players. And then next year you have another 12. And you load up on position players again, or you take a quarterback that you didn't take this year, whatever. Whatever that quarterback is, he's not going to really have to carry the team if you did a really good job of drafting all over the place. If you did a really good job of drafting all over the place, then you're going to have the nasty D-line. Then you're going to have the nasty O-line. And so then all of a sudden now, you know, not that I'm a Fitzpatrick believer, but with that kind of team, you'll win 9-10 games with Fitzpatrick. So
you went 5-4 with nothing.
With nothing, exactly. With absolutely nothing. And so think about that. And so if you could find the kid that could just manage the game for you, doesn't have to carry you because you did a good job of building the entire team. And with all these picks, instead of giving it all away for a gamble, you build something better. You build something stronger. You build something more long-lasting. Okay? Because the Bucs had a top 10 defense the second half of the season. They went 7-9 with a quarterback that threw 30 interceptions. They actually have a pretty decent team. All they got to do is maybe shore up the O-line a little bit. And the running game, either Ronald Jones II has to, where he ended, has to pick up, or they get another back to add to the mix, which I think they will in this draft. And they saw that, and they said, we're really a 10-win team, 11-win team with a real quarterback because of the team. And they went and bought their quarterback. That's the other option, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe there's a quarterback you can buy. Maybe there's a quarterback that becomes available in the next year or two. You're not going to the Super Bowl this year. You're not really going to the Super Bowl probably next year. What you're doing is rebuilding the team. So in the process, don't force it. You are in a position that you've never been in as a franchise for the next 2 years. You're loaded with draft picks. Come away with a whole bunch of draft picks. Come away with a whole bunch of good players on the D&O lines. Because look at the Dolphins. You got to the Super Bowl with Woodstock, right? I know youngins don't know what the hell I'm talking about. They just hear the stories. But for you old farts out there, it doesn't have to be the last 20 years. Shula figured it out too. He had a defense. He had a running game. He didn't need great quarterbacking. He just needed decent quarterbacking. That's what he got.
Strike shortened season may have helped a little bit.
Whatever, but
you know, the quarterback didn't get exposed.
Everybody was in a strike shortened season. So it's not like they were cutting corners. So they made it with a strike shortened season. But my point is they made it without great play at quarterback. Because they didn't need a great player at that position. So unless you're convinced, and there's no way anybody could be convinced that Tua's going to stay healthy, okay? And, you know, I've heard people, well, he's a one-contract guy. Okay, sure. What does that mean? And what year is he going to stay healthy? How healthy is he going to be during that one contract? How many games? I mean, if you're Nostradamus already, you're going to tell me he's only going to be a one-contract guy. I don't know how long he's going to last. He may not last a year. Maybe he lasts 15. Nobody knows. But the one thing that's in his history is injuries. And usually, if that's your history, that's your future. And that's what you have to kind of, you know, weigh in. All right, we're already
you know what, this quarterback situation, You've gone through the stats. You've gone through the number one picks for 10 years. You've gone through the very first pick quarterback taken the last 15. McShay with the top 10 going in, 5. The ratio of quarterbacks to succeed, 10% was McShay. The last 5 years, the quarterback ratings going into the draft. Going back and us doing the first-round picks and the very top pick, no matter how you do it, it's somewhere around 10 to 25 top % of success
of
on
stud.
hitting on a quarterback.
Yeah.
You're going to fail at minimum 3 out of 4.
More often than not, you will fail.
And that's like why compound the risk with the injury thing and stuff like that? Let's take a stud, like you said. Your top 10 players have to be guys that hit the ground running and make an impact on your team.
Yep. And listen, again, I've been always from the school of take the position player. I understand if they take Tua. I get it, and I'm not going to kill the team, but I kind of know what's coming. I get it. All right, let me tell you about Moody's Dental, because let me tell you, if you want to fix your teeth, you got to fix the cavities. Maybe you're in pain right now. Call Moody's Dental, 305-821-0231. Please tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I'm telling you, the service is amazing, family-oriented place, state-of-the-art equipment, 305-821-0231. Go online, moody'sdental.com.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with 0 down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up. Say you like. I always appreciate that. Bill and I appreciate all the likes. We also appreciate the shares. So grab that little arrow, pass it over to Twitter and Facebook, send it to a friend on text, and tell them about the show so they've got something hardcore that they can watch and listen to every single day. Let's see what we got here on the YouTube channel. Dandy Photography says, Big O, I thought it was really hard. Give me Cam for QB, 5 Judy, 18 McKinney, 26 Swift, second round O-line, DT, and edge. Okay, I'm not a Cam guy. You would have to change up the whole offense. Then you need a backup that plays his style. Plus, he's got some injuries now. He's 31. I could not disagree with you more. I'd rather take a chance on Jameis Winston than Cam any day of the week and twice on Sundays. Big O, will you be doing any type of show while the draft is live and happening? Look, worst case scenario, we'll do something from the house. I'm trying to see if I can team up with a sponsor. I'm working on that. Okay, I'm working on a sponsor, maybe a sports bar. We don't have to have anybody there, just myself and Bill just broadcasting. And, we could be promoting their takeout and stuff like that, things like that. I'm looking for a partner in that sense. Maybe only for the Thursday, not Friday and Saturday. Maybe I just do Friday and Saturday here at the house where I chime in and out throughout the day while we're watching the draft. I can't do what we were going to do in Vegas. Because we're going to have several people with us. It wasn't only me. We're going to have other people. We're going to have guests stop by, all that stuff. It was going to be a whole different – I can't be more pissed about this whole coronavirus thing because of that whole week in Vegas. I mean, that was going to be just a great, great week for Dolphins. A great, great week for the Dolphin team. Hell, for us on our show, that was going to be priceless to be hanging out with hundreds of Dolphin fans, thousands by the time the week is over. All over the place.
Our new Vegas home for Dolphin fans.
Man, yeah, and we'll be back there. We'll go there for the Raiders, so I'm not worried about that. Eventually, we'll be. So, Dean, I'm working on it. Okay. Now, if there's a sponsor out there that wants to step up and team up with us, we've got enough people that are viewing and watching and downloading and all that. So it's you never know. So you might know a business. It may not have to be a bar. Maybe it's something else that we do. You never know. Let's see. Ian from Brooklyn says, what's good? Call of Duty 1 says, buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches. I am ready for the NFL draft. I finally have faith in the front office. You should, my man. You should. Alex says, good morning. Mark says, good morning, Big O. Love you online. You are not alone in heading away from radio to online. Scotty Farrell ditched Intercom and is online on Sports Grid at 4 p.m. Local radio sucks now. Yeah, I mean, it's the inevitable, dude. But you know what? Guys like Farrell and myself, we can go online, we can connect with our listeners, and then they can get the show that they want, man, and we can get the corporate crap out of the way. And then we build it up together here. And that's it. That's all. No more politics, man. Let's get this crap out. This is where we're headed. You see it all over media. They're trying to control what the media has to say. New York Sports says, Big O, appreciate that you talk sports and real-life issues. I won't say names, but you got folks on Sirius and nationally filling their entire show about best Lakers of all time, best Celtics of all. Yeah, I can't do that, dude. Yeah, I'm not going to be living in the past, bro. I just can't do that. Did you watch the horse?
I'll be honest. I turned it on somewhere around 10:30. Saw the sweeping of Paul Pierce as you had predicted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Old ass, stiff ass.
And saw obviously Paul
yeah.
go down.
Yeah.
To the 3-point ace.
Yeah. So I had no interest. You know that? I was like, I was like, no, I just can't.
tried. I tried. I gave it the last 20 minutes, and I will never
I commend
not go there again. I gave it a try.
I
I'm done.
commend you.
I'm
I
out.
commend you. I saw a couple of highlights. I was like, yeah, I'm glad I'm watching movies and YouTube and all kinds of stuff. It was so good. So yeah, I can't do that, bro. I can't watch old games, and I'm not going to come up here and say, hey, let's talk about the 5 greatest Dolphins of the 1970s. And then tomorrow, we'll talk about the 5 greatest Dolphins from the 1980s. Yeah, I'm just, no, dude, I'm not doing that. I'm going to talk about what's going on now. I'm going to talk about the sports. I'm going to, whatever's in the news, and I'll give you my opinions on it. We got the draft coming up. Whatever. We'll talk about those kind of things. I'd rather talk about music. I'd rather talk about life, whatever it is. But we're going to have a talk show. But I'm not going to be, I'm not interested in watching the Masters from '86 or even last year's Masters. And I'm not interested in watching or listening to Heat games from a month ago. Or whatever, like what are the local stations doing? Like they're only playing the Heat wins.
I know you like Mickelson.
Like,
they did it Saturday. The Mickelson Masters win.
Oh, they did that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
that doesn't even interest you. I know you're
nothing. None of that interests me, dude, at all. I want real sports live when it's happening, so we can talk about it. The past is the past. You know what I mean? I can't do it. So I can't do those shows. And I'm sorry if you're looking for any of those kind of shows. I am not doing that. Mickey says, our Dolphins are just making the smoke extremely thick with the all so-called rumors and trade talks, etc. So nobody knows what they're thinking. Greer and Flores are playing chess, not checkers. Amen? Myron says, what's up, everyone? Oh, I changed my mind. My Dolphins fans pick Justin Herbert. He is healthy. Those comments by Tua this weekend bother me. Yeah, I'll get to those. The badminton ones, yeah. Radically centrist says, all this talk about QB, Miami is not going to pick a QB in the first round. Flores is going to pick 3 defensive players to make the most dominant defense in the NFL. No way, dude. He's picking offense, my brother. That ain't going to be. That one of the picks could be defensive, but I guarantee you they're going to pick an offensive lineman. They have to. They have to shore up that line. They have to shore up that line. They either they take a tackle and either a guard center. I'm telling you, I would not be surprised. Alex Diaz is in. Myron is in. Go Gators. I don't know. Becton to me is overrated because all the people see is size and athleticism. I like Thomas and Jedrick Willis better. I'm with you, too. I like Thomas and Willis and Wirfs. Wirfs is my guy. Becton I would have at 4, but he's considered one of the top 4. Let's see. What do we have here?
Before you go,
Cam is a 53% completion quarterback. Not very. No, he's never been accurate. That's never been his thing. That's why I'm not really. The Cam thing is.
The top tackles. The top tackles. What is there? 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, we just mentioned them.
And that's it. There's no. After that, it's a third rounder.
Yes.
Okay.
No, not a third rounder. No. There'll be like the USC kid and no. They could be late first, early second. Yeah,
no. I'm talking about the top 4 or 5. That their first, second.
Yeah.
After that, any of those guys, you don't take them before the third. After those top 5 guys.
The third pick in the first round?
No. I'm talking about the whole draft. Like those 5 tackles that are the guys.
Right.
After the 5th, the 6th tackle shouldn't be touched until the 3rd round. Correct?
No.
That's what I'm saying. No,
not at all.
Like, because how tackles, there's always a run.
No, there could be 6 or 7 in the first round. The top 4 that are considered the upper tier, they'll be gone in the first 20 picks. guaranteed. I don't even know if one might slip to Miami at 18. Then you got the next tier. Those guys are going to go late
So
first.
you don't believe because they've talked about the corners
Yeah,
slipping in.
No. There's going to be at least 6 or 7 tackles in the first round.
Oh man.
Yeah, there'll be a couple guys that'll sneak in into the back end of the first round. Because the USC kid is going to be taken somewhere, late teens to early 20s, I think. Let's see. Douglas Anderson, the USC offensive tackle is not very good, will be available in the second round. Could be. I think he could go late first. Let's see. Please give an opinion on how much say Flores has on the draft selection process. Will Greer pick a guy Flores does not sanction? That's not how it goes. They're going to agree on players. They've already talked about all these players already. Greer has the final say. But Greer is not an egomaniac. You have to understand that. Greer is going to, unless he has a crazy conviction on a guy, he's going to defer and say, if Marvin says, hey, I really like this guy, I've scouted him, I've talked to all these, this guy's going to be, and he'll go, all right, Marvin, let's go with your guy. I like him too, whatever. I got you. If Reggie McKenzie has something, if Flores has something, that ego stuff and that's not going on anymore. That's why I'm telling you that I try to convince people because they've been beaten up for 20-something years. This is a completely different front office. This isn't – I keep telling you guys this. They all need to succeed. You understand that, right? Brian Flores is not guaranteed a second job as a head coach. Chris Greer's not given that he's going to get a second job. Look how long it took him to get the general manager job. Reggie McKenzie just lost a general manager job. So it's imperative for him to hit on picks here. A lot of these guys, they don't have an option. So that's why I'm telling you that you really have to understand that this group is going to work together. That is my rock solid prediction. Okay? They will work together. GPP Central says, yo, Big O, my favorite quarterback is changed. I'm in love with Anthony Gordon. How you feel about him in the third round? I got no problem taking him in late second, third rounds. Anthony Gordon is a kid that is accurate enough and is crafty enough back there that I wouldn't mind. He had a fantastic week in the Senior Bowl. So, no, I'm with you. I like him. Let's see. Eugene 96 is in. Kenneth Cleveland says, good morning. 305 forever. Dolphins is him. Says Tom Brady first and last Super Bowl wins were on his defense. Alex Diaz says Bortles go carried because of that defense. Exactly. Manny Machin says Flores is going to build the defense first. Simmons or Brown at 5. Max Support says the contract of death, overpaying Joe. Well, that's how it happens to every team. You got to pay your quarterback, man, when it comes up. M. Shepard says 35 years, Dolphins been losing for years. Load up the next 2 years and build the team. I got no problem with that, my friend. None whatsoever. Tyrone Sanders says, preach them, Big O. Everything you're saying is correct. Common sense is all you're giving them with this knowledge. You got to love it. Fins for life. Thank you, sir. What else? Yahawashi Shamar. I probably killed your name. I am sorry. John, as long as we have decent quarterbacks to back up, I wouldn't mind that. Oh, okay. Oh, John says, would it be acceptable if Tua plays 15 years and has hurt 5 of those years? Wow. But that's a lot of years to be hurt. 5 years, dude. How many seasons did you lose out, John? Did you
turned him into Evil Knievel, man.
Were you a Super Bowl contender in one of those 5 years? Were you playoff contenders? I mean, if you sucked and he lost those 5 years, yeah, but if he's out and now, John, did I win a Super Bowl in the other 10? What did I do in the other 10? You know what I mean? There's so much there. It's just, that's such a loaded question. There's no way to get around it. Fireplay YT says, Big O, I love you and your show. Dolphin from New Jersey, no busts. I just want to hear how Jake Long worked out for us. Bro, okay, look, I know he passed away, and I know he's a decent human being, okay? He was a crappy coach. And I hate to say it, but Sperano cost Jake Long his career. Jake Long was just fine until Sperano had a crazy idea of keeping Jake Long in a preseason game, game one in the fourth quarter or in the second half in a muddy field on a baseball field. And when he screwed up his knee in that game, he was never, ever the same again for the rest of his career. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that Tony Sperano ruined Jake Long's career. Jake Long is too nice and too decent of a human being to ever point the fingers at Tony Sperano. But I will call it like it is, and I will say it like it is. Nothing personal against Tony. I know he's passed away. I don't want to speak. He's a decent man. He's a good man. He looked like a good dude, but as a coach, he left everything to be desired. And he cost Jake Long his career. Nobody will convince me of anything different because he had no business playing Jake Long at that time, that long, and in the first preseason game. Dude was never the same after that. Sperano ruined his career. That's right. Myron is right. Hit that like button out there while you're watching. Por favor. Hit the like button. Grab that share. Share it with everybody. Post it on Twitter, Facebook. Share it with a friend. Send it to them on text. All draft picks are a gamble. Sure, we can play it safe with the coin slots for a lineman, but I would rather go for the big boy craps table and risk it for a potential Pro Bowl quarterback. Okay, but when the Pro Bowl quarterback breaks down again, you have to then shut the hell up and never say anything about the Dolphins and don't pick on Chris Greer. Can you do that? That's the question. All of you out there that want Tua, all of you out there that want to trade up for Tua, when Tua breaks down, which he will, you have no right whatsoever to point the finger at Chris Greer. Okay? Let's have that understanding now. Be fair. Strap on a pair. Okay? I'm just saying. Drew Bow, hello, Fins Nation. Let's own this draft, baby. Number one running back for me, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. All right? The Dolphin Maniac says, why not pick a wide receiver CB? Then you can let Parker or X walk if they want too much money next year. Dude, Parker's under contract for the next 4 years. What's wrong with you? And X is under contract. Now, I want both guys to stay healthy and play well. Why, Raging Dolphin Maniac, why do you want to get rid of them? Look, if X screws his head on right and he's not getting in any more trouble and he balls, I don't want him going anywhere. And Devontae Parker, what I saw last year, I just want to see it over and over again now. Man, you want to part ways with, no, I don't, Raging Dolphin Maniac. You're raging, baby. Big O, how do you feel about drafting 2 QBs? Shamar, have you been listening to the show? I've been saying for months now that if you draft 2 at 5, you have to draft a second quarterback. So I am a fan of drafting 2 quarterbacks. Eric Murias from Murias Dental says they should take the best player at 5, then take a QB with the next pick. Won't be a shocker if 2 is still there at 18. You know, Eric, it's interesting that you brought that up because I think one of these guys is going to drop. I think it's more Herbert, actually. I think people are talking more Herbert. I think because Tua is a good passer, the intoxication, somebody's going to take him before 18. But Herbert is the one guy I can see dropping. That's the guy that I think is the ultimate smokescreen. Hey, Big O, we'll be traveling to the stadium to do any post-game broadcast this season. No, I am not going to do anything from the stadium. No, sir. Maybe do something close to the stadium, but not at the stadium. We might do some pre or post game shows. We might do that. Let's see. And he follows up with, I say look for quarterbacks in the later rounds. That could happen. That could happen. Dan Horsley says, okay, been watching highlight reels from Anthony Gordon. You guys who are pushing him as a QB, I'm officially on board. Well, welcome on board, Dan. And thank you for watching and supporting. Vernon Porter says, Flores will continue building the trenches. Well, both. Remember, trenches are on both sides. So, yes. What else do we have here? Man, you guys have sent in a ton. I can't even read them all. There's so many, I can't even read them all. You remember when we started this thing out and it was a few people? I could read them all in a second. Amen 241 says, I'm trying to get like new people that I see new names and get them in there. Amen 241 says, I was a kid when the Dolphins won a Super Bowl. Would like to see one again in my lifetime. I trust Flores and Greer. I'm with you, my man. Rolando de la Torre says, people seem to forget RG3 when it comes to a hard pass. There you go. 72 Fins Logo says, I haven't been on here lately, but can you answer this question? Are you going to do a draft show on YouTube? I'm going to try. I'll do something. I want to do like a really complete show, but I need a sponsor. So we got to get a sponsor. So if you know a business that wants to sponsor us, they can reach out to us. And on Twitter, they're at Big O Show. They can reach out on my DMs. Man, this is crazy. You guys are so awesome.
You're overloaded and inundated, man.
Yeah. It's like I can't even reach all that. It's just too many.
It's a great problem to have, sir.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's really nice, and I love all of you out there for continuing to support the way you do and spread the word and follow. Please subscribe while you're here. Subscribe to the show. Tell other folks to subscribe to the show. All of that. Keep it going, man. And again, this is the reason why we passed 1 million minutes viewed in the last month. I was like, well, we're 1 million plateaus for us this month. That's pretty damn cool, man. That is pretty damn cool. All right. Let's take a break. We got 1 hour down. When we come back on the other side, I want to talk about somebody that I guess – I don't know, maybe he got a little bit of a wake-up call. He's one of the best reporters in the business. But he had a crazy idea for the Dolphins, and then now the idea was kind of shot down. So let's talk about that to start off hour number 2. Connor Folk, by the way, will join us in this hour at the bottom at 12:30. Back with hour number 2 right here on The Big O Show.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with 0 down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% 30% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We are back. If you want to get in on the program on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it is 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to me on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always, because it is a 24-hour talk show there, being on Twitter. So the last week we talked about a story where, and look, I got nothing but respect for Peter King. He is one of the best in our business, one of the best insiders of all time. No doubt about that. But I have to laugh my ass off because last week, he was talking about how the Dolphins should trade 4 first-round picks to get Joe Burrow, right? And, of course, I think that's absolutely asinine, okay? And I love Peter King. I got nothing against him. You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter if you're my best friend or you're my wife or you're Peter King. If I think your point is asinine, I'm going to tell you. Don't care who it is, okay? I don't. Really, I don't. It doesn't matter to me who you are.
Yeah, you like actually telling people that's an asinine thought.
Yeah. I don't even care if you're a billionaire, dude. I don't care if you're my boss. I will tell you it's a terrible idea. Guaranteed. Okay? So that's where, I got to say, okay, Peter King, and I said it last week, I'm pretty consistent. I don't know what you're smoking, my brother. But that would be the dumbest thing in the world. You know how many one-year wonders are out there that fail in the NFL? And I'm not saying that Joe Burrow is going to fail. I like him too. And if Miami had the #1 pick, I would tell you take Joe Burrow. But that's because you have the #1 pick. I am not ever going to tell you, hey, trade up from 5 to 1 and trade all your first-rounders and trade next year's first-rounder to get up to Joe Burrow. Get the hell out of here, dude. Let him take Joe Burrow. That's fine. You'll find a quarterback. Don't panic. That's part of this game too, is that you can't panic. And I kind of get that now from people out there. And if you're a team that, you understand this game, then panicking is not an option. So now Peter King has kind of changed his tune now. Because, well, not his tune, okay? He hasn't necessarily changed his tune. But what he is saying is that the Dolphins are now not really looking at Joe Burrow. Now he reports that Greer and Flores are against trading in order to get Burrow, which I think I've been telling you guys for a while now that they're not here to accumulate all these picks and then give them away. I think I've been telling you. By the way, Gar Foreman has been fired after 22 years as the Bulls GM. Wow. How many games did they lose the last week that they had to fire him? All right. Anyway, so now you look at all this. I've been telling you guys from the get-go that I believe Chris Grier has accumulated all these picks because he wants to build a hell of a team. So whenever he adds a quarterback, you're not depending on Aaron Rodgers to carry you week in and week out. And you have to we watched it with Marino. We had one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. The guy would kill himself every week only to, win a lot of times, but then he would lose a lot, 38-35. And when you're the quarterback and you're going, man, our offense put up 35 points and we lost. Our offense put up 38 points and we lost. Our offense put up 28 points and we lost. You got to be scratching your head and wondering what the hell's going on here. And I think that it's kind of remember what I told you about, you look at what's gone on in football the last 20 years, how a lot of teams have either won it or gone really far, and they haven't had a special quarterback. And then you look at the opposite side. Well, the Dolphins had a special quarterback for 17 years, and yeah, they made it once to the Super Bowl, and they got their asses kicked. Because the other team had an offensive line, had a defense, and had a running game. Danny just had a passing game and a good line. Wasn't a great run-blocking line, but it was a good pass-blocking line. And it also helped that he had the quickest radar and the quickest release, and he made a decision quickly and didn't hold on to the ball. So he made life easy for whoever was the offensive lineman. But, that's why you look at the different things going on, and yeah, it's nice to get a stud that can make plays and carry you and all of that, but I don't think you want it in a position where you don't have all the other pieces. And I think that's what they're trying to accomplish. So if you hit on James Morgan from FIU and you draft him in the 3rd or 4th rounds, and all of a sudden he turns into a competent starting quarterback, your team is freaking loaded for James Morgan. If you draft Anthony Gordon, and Anthony Gordon out of Washington State comes through, and all of a sudden you didn't have to trade up, you didn't have to give away capital, you have all your draft capital. You drafted Anthony Gordon when he fell to you in the 2nd or 3rd rounds, and you developed him, and he turned into a quarterback. That's why, and when Peter King now, I know what he says he wants to do. Now he unearths information that says that Flores and Grier are against trading for Joe Burrow. So whatever he wanted to do, he realized that those guys, they're actually going to do sensible things. They're not going to do stuff that just doesn't make any sense. And trading 4 first-round picks for a kid that's done it one time and everything could have just gone his way that 1 year. You just never know. He wasn't impressive the year before. He wasn't impressive at Ohio State. So then all of a sudden you're going to take a guy off of 1 year and you're going to trade 4 first-rounders for him. Grier and Flores are not that stupid to do that. You have set yourself up now to add all kinds of really good players on your team in the next 2 years. Don't give them away for a gamble. You gamble enough as it is in the damn draft. You don't need to do this. You don't need this gamble too. You know what I'm saying? So 4 first-rounders, no. But Peter King looks like maybe he got some good information. I don't know. We'll see. These guys don't talk much. But Peter's pretty good. And he is getting a feel for that Grier and Flores don't want to make that move, which, again, I've told you guys already that was mental masturbation. I told you not to talk about it. I told you not to bring it up. I laugh at any writer writing the stupid-ass story about Joe Burrow because they weren't ever going to get Joe Burrow. They had no shot at Joe Burrow. And the whole thing about Joe Burrow, the best part about this conversation is that the average reporter, and especially most fans that wanted Joe Burrow, you don't have any common sense. You don't bother to look that the Cincinnati Bengals have spent a fortune in free agency, something they never do. And then when they had their conversation with Joe Burrow, he asked about A.J. Green, that he wanted to play with them, and they tagged him and kept him. So they have spent a boatload in free agency, and they tagged and kept A.J. Green. They've done everything to tell you that they're drafting Joe Burrow. They're not trading him. Yet idiots will write about it. Idiots will talk about it on TV. Idiots will talk about it on radio. Fans will say stupid things like, oh, we should trade up for Joe Burrow. What do you think, about trading for Joe Burrow? And meanwhile, what's my response? Mental masturbation. Stop wasting your time. And you'll see on draft day, Joe Burrow becomes a Cincinnati Bengal. And all of you that wrote articles, all of you that you couldn't do a real radio show, so you had to come up with a fake Joe Burrow talk because you can't come up with real talk. That's why people have to make lists of the 5 best players of the 70s. And let's talk about the Yankees of 1942. And let's talk about the 6 Patriot championships. Which one's the best? And this, that. You got to live in the past because you can't come up with conversation now. That's all. And since you can't come up with a creative article, let's go lazy and let's talk about trading for Joe Burrow. Because that's all it is. It's lazy talk. It's a lazy article. There is no substance to it. But whatever producer on a talking head show wants 2 guys or a guy and a girl to argue about Joe Burrow to Miami, hey, let's just waste time. Let's waste a segment. And meanwhile, there's a percentage of you guys, hook, line, and sinker, you're buying that crap. It's embarrassing. And again, you don't bother to look at the landscape. Wow, I've never seen the Cincinnati Bengals spend that kind of money. Wow, the Bengals are going to tag and keep A.J. Green in a year loaded with wide receivers. Why wouldn't they let go of A.J. Green and draft young receivers? Oh, because the young quarterback needs a star receiver to help him a little bit.
That's the biggest clue in, man.
Of course.
Why would you keep that guy?
Injury prone?
And you're going to get a rookie and have him on a way lesser contract for the next 5 years.
By the way, a loaded receiver draft.
Oh, yeah.
A loaded receiver draft.
That's probably easily the heaviest position, right?
They can get a great receiver with their pick in the second round, that number 1 pick, because obviously they get Burrow. But then that first pick in the second round, they're going to have an opportunity at a great but he's young. You can't ask a first-year receiver to go out there and, hey, help carry Joe Burrow. So they kept A.J. Green. Put it this way. They're not even moving Andy Dalton. They're even going to keep Andy Dalton to help in the transition of Joe Burrow. Because it's a shortened off season. He doesn't have mini camps. He may not even have much of a training camp or preseason. So Andy Dalton knows the system, knows it all. So that what they do is they start with Dalton, and they work Burrow in.
And how many different teams were tagged to Dalton?
Right. Well,
I'm 5 or 6,
including the Patriots. But think about this: that they're even going to keep Andy Dalton for the transition. No, I mean, I've never seen Cincinnati spend this kind of money ever.
They're actually making some wise decisions.
It's smart. Yes.
You know,
actually, yes. You are 1,000% right, sir. They are making decisions like if they're a responsible franchise, which is like the weirdest thing in the world. I've never viewed these people like a responsible franchise. It's the craziest thing. Really is. But it's just like, oh, let's what do you think, Joe Burrow?
Maybe it only took 15, 20 years for the light bulb to come on.
I live in a tree. Let's trade for Joe Burrow. I mean, come on, dude. It's just, I just, every time I saw it, it's like lazy, lazy, lazy. You know, what is it? Hey, man, we do it here every day, 3-4 hours. And we don't go with the lazy topics. Ever. And there's plenty of things to talk about. Have some fun. Talk with you guys. Answer your questions on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, here on YouTube, on Twitter. There's plenty of things you guys bring up that we could talk about. That's going on. There's plenty of stuff going. Man, my sheet is loaded. I got so many things to talk about. It's crazy. I don't need let's talk about the 5 greatest Heat players of the 90s. Come on, bro. I mean, you know, it's just like, yeah, what's your favorite Heat moment of the Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway era? Really? That's what we're going to do? I mean, come on. It's just, it's laziness. That's all it is. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Now, the other thing that we got to talk about with Tua, he did address the media this weekend, and I don't know how you guys look at it, and if these comments by him kind of get you nervous. To me, I found them kind of humorous because he was actually downplaying the injuries, just like the agent does. And I understand the agent. So Tua, right, held a virtual pro day workout this week to show off the arm, all that stuff. He joined former Alabama offensive coordinator and current Maryland's coach Mike Locksley on Instagram Live on Friday night and said that injuries are a fact of life in his chosen sport. He says, I'm not playing badminton. I'm not on the swim team. Football's a physical sport. You're going to get hurt. That just comes with it. And it's just very unfortunate that I got hurt every season. It's part of the game. It's a contact sport. I can only control what I can control. I can't control that. Well, my man, that's the problem. And I think you just said it right there. And it's just very unfortunate that I got hurt every season. Okay, let me repeat that again. And it was just very unfortunate that I got hurt every season. So those of you out there that are coming up with the crazy stuff, well, you know, he'll play one contract. Okay, so he only plays 5 years. Are you sure he's going to play all 5? Or is he going to miss 2 or 3 of those 5? Oh, he's going to play 10 now. How many of those seasons is he going to miss? Oh, he's going to play 15 now. Well, and I love that. Like, does that guy look like he's going to last 10 or 15 years in this league? The way they hit? Have you seen the size of these men? The punishment that they deliver? It's very unfortunate I got hurt every season. No, it's actually the reality because, you know, you're fragile at this level, like most of us. He's like you and me because most of us would break down within seconds of getting on that field because that's what normal. See, there's a gift. There's a freakishness to football. And the guys that can stay healthy are those freaks. It's, you know, you got to be, it's, what's the guy's name? It's not Jack Reacher. What's the other one? Jack Reacher is Tom Cruise. The Keanu Reeves is, what's his name?
Oh,
damn it. What's the Keanu Reeves, what's it called, character? What's his damn name? Somebody help me out there. You guys are watching right now. What's Keanu Reeves' character that they've got 3 parts to it now already? John something. John, damn it. I hate being old and having brain farts. 53. What is it? John something. Help me out. John Wick. Thank you. Who was first? Man of 1,005 holds. Way to go, man. Man of 1,005 holds. All right, so you know John Wick. You watch John Wick. I would hope that most of the people watching right now, have you seen at least one John Wick? You have. Okay.
The first one.
All right. You notice, right? The guy falls from a second floor. He gets up. He gets shot. He gets up. He gets shot. He picks the bullet out. He breaks his leg. He'll drag the leg for 800 miles. It doesn't matter. You wonder about John Wick. It's like, look at all the John Wicks that came in. You guys are awesome. It doesn't matter what happens to John Wick, right? You're like, holy crap, this guy got up again. That's football players. You have to be John Wick on the football field. You have to be able to get up after they just punish your ass. And Tua can't get up. Tua has no John Wick in him. Can't find a way to stay on the field. You got to find a way to stay on the field. Availability is, the most priceless thing that's out there in football. Outside of your talent and being effective and obviously not throwing the ball 30 interceptions, durability is a key. It's a skill, it's a talent, it's a gift. It's whatever adjective you want to label it. And Tua has no John Wick in him. And he's telling you that right there. And by the way, Tua, if you were on the swim team, I think you would break down too. Okay? Let's not make it sound like swimming is cake. All right? Because when they have you swimming 1,000 meters, I don't know, a guy like you might blow out a hamstring or something. Who knows? To me, Tua looks like the guy that gets injured no matter what. It's very Sam Bradford-ish.
It's not if.
It's when. Right. It's when. It's exactly it. And like 4,000 John Wicks came in. Thank you all.
And he even said it himself. I mean, that's the most indicting of all of it. Him saying himself flat out.
Right.
Every
year. Every year. You know what it is to say it every year? That is, Now, here's the best part. So I'm watching this whole thing on Tua, right? And I've been having a little fun at the expense of Laura Rutledge, as you all know, because she seems to be the mouthpiece. Now, politics, right? This is why I don't like doing terrestrial radio anymore. Because if you're on the same station with teams, then you've got your wussy-ass program director, Len Weiner, all whiny and, all nervous because you said something about a team or something. And so you have gutless people like that running, and you have a gutless organization like Intercom. And by the way, thank you, because that's why this show has grown, because you really don't have much options on radio anymore. So
their lacking is our benefit.
Yes, there's no doubt. I mean, Intercom's done me an enormous favor. No competition. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, so I've told you this, that you got to play the politics. You got to play the game. I'm not a fan of playing the game like that. Okay? I know plenty of agents, man. I know all the top agents in the NFL. Okay? Now, they all know me too. And so I will ask them about their own player, and then I'll tell them what's wrong with their player. And then they'll give me a BS line, and I'll say, hey, you're not going to sell me on that. Come on, man. You can go sell them, but I know what this guy's about. So if the guy's a bad dude, I'll tell him he's a bad dude. If the guy's dumb, I'll tell him he's dumb. If he's not a good football player, I'll tell him he's not a good football player. Doesn't matter to me. Because I'm brutally honest. At least
West Shrine that day sitting in the lobby.
Yeah, with the Adiza. Yeah, with the Adiza. But again, and I love Adiza like a brother. But he knows I'm not going to BS him. And he knows he can't BS me. You know what I mean? Most agents know that they're not going to BS me and sell me something, because then I'll come back at him and I'll tell him, come on, dude. I know your guy can't catch. I know your guy can't throw. I know your guy's not accurate. I know your guy, gets high too much. I know your guy's lazy, whatever. And I'll tell him that. But there are people out there that in order to get their information, they will kiss ass. And they won't say anything. And they won't have an opinion. And so, hate to pick on her because she's a good broadcaster. She sounds good. But Laura Rutledge, you can tell, is, in the Tua camp. And you can tell that whether it's Steinberg or a Steinberg assistant or somebody giving her information, watch her explain Tua today on Get Up.
And it continues to be the biggest concern of any team, to Dan Graziano's point, that will be interested in Tua and has been interested in Tua. I think what we're dealing with here is obviously a conundrum, but there's so much more to it. I mean, you look back at these injuries, it's important to note that both ankle surgeries were done for Tua because they were trying to get him back to play in the college football playoff. I mean, there's really no other way to look at it. They really wouldn't have done those surgeries otherwise. They are actually surgeries that create a zip tie in somebody's ankle and allow them to be stronger going forward. The reason why I bring that up is because, Greeny, to your point, we are saying that this guy is injury prone. He's had all these injuries in the past. That's a part of his story. But what's also a part of his story is that these surgeries, for the medical reasons that we've illustrated, will make him stronger. Now, he just has to continue to stay healthy. I think one thing, too, and Dan Orlovsky and Marcus can speak to this as well, what does happen here is you're seeing Tua come out and say, I'm not hiding anything. I'm showing you everything I possibly can, which is all he can do right now. That's going to continue to be where he lies. What I do know as well is the teams that were interested in Tua really liked that tape that they sent out, that pro day that they sent out. They were very impressed by that, specifically some of those 47-yard throws that really required a lot of movement in the pocket, really showing how healthy and how good he does look right now.
All right, she almost choked up there at the end. Listen, the part that was she saying, well, he'll be stronger. The guy breaks down all the time.
This is Tommy John surgery all over his body.
There's nothing about strong. And he could have Tommy John and he'll blow his arm out again and again and again because that's what he is. That's what he is. But see, there's a person that is just throwing fluff out there. Dan Graziano gave an opinion. She just went off Dan's opinion, but then mention, well, yeah, I know he's injury prone. That's part of his story, but he's telling you, and that he's, stronger now after the surgeries, and he only had these surgeries because he was trying to get back to the bowl game. But these surgeries are going to make him stronger than ever, and it's like, it's almost like you're drafting the $6 million man. He's bigger, stronger, faster.
He's Steve Austin. He's cut from Steve Austin.
Yeah. Tua Tagovailoa.
Steve Austin, a man barely alive. Yeah. We can rebuild him.
Yes.
We have the technology.
Yes.
We can make him bigger, stronger, faster.
That's what it's going to be. That's Tua, bro. Tua is our boy Lee Majors. That's crazy, bro. Tua Lee Majors. I wonder if do we have a little $6 million man? Crank it there, bro. Crank it.
Steve Austin, astronaut.
Tua.
A man barely alive.
Quarterback. A man barely put together.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the
Greer,
technology.
we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man.
We have the capability of making the world's first bionic quarterback.
Steve Austin.
Tua Tagovailoa. He's that man.
Better than he was before.
Better. Stronger.
Better. Stronger.
Faster. All right, there we go.
My favorite was the Bionic Woman one.
Yes.
Okay. And her ripping the yellow pages in half. That was always like, yeah. Okay.
Lindsay Wagner, the Bionic Woman. I don't know if I have that one. I don't know if I have that theme song saved. Let me see. I don't know. Wait, hold on. I don't know. I don't know, bro. That was it? That was the Bionic Woman? So they don't say anything in that one?
No, they do.
I don't remember it. Well, no, it says Bionic Woman. I played the whole thing.
We got a break, man.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's right. We got a break. I'm with you there. All right, it is time to take a break. We are the A team. Go ahead, crank it there.
Was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men.
No, all right, forget it. Enough of the TV themes. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Connor Falk is going to join us. We're going to talk a little XFL quickly. They ended up folding over the weekend. We'll get back to more football talk. We'll get his thoughts on the NFL, too. So, Connor follows the NFL, too, so we'll have a little fun with him. We'll get his thoughts on what he thinks the Dolphins should do at number 5. How about that? We'll ask Connor Falk that, and we'll get to more. And remember, you can reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line 786-322-1105. We'll answer your questions on the accidentlawfirm.com text line 786-322-1105. Those of you watching, give us the thumbs up, give us the likes, subscribe also to the channel, share the channel on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, send it to a friend on text, all of that. Connor Falk will join us next.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with zero down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, welcome back. I promise you're going to switch a little gears here. We're going to talk to my man Connor Falk, who does an excellent job of covering the XFL. Unfortunately, we may not have Season 2 now after the news over the weekend, and you can follow him on Twitter at Connor Falk, FULK_XFL. Let's bring him aboard. Connor, how you doing, my man?
Oh, been better. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a tough few days for everybody involved with the XFL.
Did you see it coming? Because at first they were, they stepped up big time and said, hey, we're going to pay our employees through the year, which was, I thought, super, super classy on McMahon's part to do that. And then this came, and look, dude, I know the coronavirus has, man, we're all talking about how many businesses are not going to come back whenever this thing, whenever we level off as a society. We know that there's a lot of people that are going to lose their jobs permanently because some of their businesses are not even going to be back, that kind of stuff. So did you see it coming that the virus was also going to claim this league?
So I did not. Everything I was getting told for the month longer that after the league initially suspended its season, I was told that, it was full steam ahead into 2021. Every single league executive was really highlighting the fact that 2021, I think they really wanted fans to know that they could have faith that they would come back. And the night before the XFL announced that they were suspending day-to-day operations, the most recent time, I broke the news that they were refunding all season ticket deposits for the 2021 season. They, as far as the PR spin goes, they PR spinned it as, we want to put money back in fans' pockets during these ridiculously challenging economic times.
Which again,
however,
seemed like a classy move too. Again, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a classy move with the PR spin that they put on it. But I started hearing that evening from some of my league sources that internally people were getting nervous. They felt like the employees for the XFL felt like that was a decision that was not a good sign. And then the next morning, I found out through a lot of my league people that they all received a direct deposit paycheck that was larger than it typically would be for all of their respective salaries. And they were like, oh no, we have a random call at noon with all of the league brass. This is not a good sign. So right there that morning, I knew writing was on the wall, and I basically knew what news was coming.
That is tough. So, okay, now there was, obviously they folded for the year. Are they folding permanently? Because I've read some stuff that maybe there's still a chance that this could be reignited down the line. What do you hear? Because obviously there's still the unknown about how long this virus stuff is going to drag on with us.
Yeah, so Vince McMahon has lost over $1 billion worth of net worth in a little over 30 days time span. So I think a lot of the XFL's return possibilities have to do with his ability to reamass some of that net worth that he has lost. I think he definitely needs to get on a financial upswing and towards recovery from what he's experienced during this entire pandemic crisis. Now, I did obtain a voice recording of the conference call where they informed all employees that they were unfortunately terminated, and they didn't ever mention 2021 in that call. They never specifically said we are folding. They never specifically said that 2021 was absolutely not happening. However, every single league personnel staffer that I've talked to has told me that there is a very low chance in their opinion that the league ever comes back. So just going off of what they've told me, I would put at a very low chance. However, I would never, I'm not going to say never.
Okay. Connor Falk, by the way, joining us. Listen, on a positive side, dude, what's it up to? Like 30 players have signed with the NFL? A boatload of players have signed.
17 so far. However, we have a really good chance to see that number explode probably once we get past the NFL draft.
That's right.
I think once we get past the NFL draft, you're going to see upwards of another 50 or more XFL players signed with the NFL. I think XFL players have actually been hurt even more than they've already been by COVID-19 because NFL scouts can't get in a room together to discuss these XFL players that they've scouted. And also, I've heard that NFL teams have been having trouble getting videotape or game tape on these players from the XFL because of all of the craziness and uncertainty that's been happening. So hopefully those things get sorted out and more XFL players can join the ranks of the NFL. I fully expect it.
And Connor, let's be honest, they were also hurt that they didn't get to play the other half of the season because those guys would have had an opportunity to really, like put more game tape out there and kind of solidify a lot of things out there. It would have been a lot of fun, man. I thought we were headed for at least another season. The way things were going, it just this time around. See, this is the difference compared to the UFL, compared to the first go around of the XFL. Some of these other leagues that have come up over the last 15, 20 years. This is the one time where it seemed like they got it right. They got it right on the field. They got it right with the broadcast. They got it right with the marketing. I think they were getting the kind of response that they needed. But obviously, once the COVID thing started taking over, it affected, I'm sure, the last 2 weeks of the season was already being affected by that. And then it was going to affect the rest of the year. But, I mean, overall, that's the one thing that's a shame that as a guy that has seen a whole bunch of these other leagues come up, since the USFL, this was the one league that it looked to me like they got it right.
I completely agree. The thing that I have really struggled with since breaking this news is the fact that if an unprecedented global pandemic did not hit our entire Earth during this time, the XFL would continue flourishing. I mean, they did everything right. This is completely out of the control of all the league executives and all of the players, coaches, staff, which, previous spring leagues, we can blame specifically, the executives of the leagues and decision-making for why that league folded. We just can't do that with this. The St. Louis Battlehawks were about to have over 45,000. I've had team sources tell me upwards of 50,000 fans in St. Louis to watch the St. Louis Battlehawks at their next game. TV ratings were outperforming all of their competitors. It's such a bummer because I think this league had a ton of longevity. I think they would have been able to get through the first several seasons, renegotiate that TV deal, and I think we could have had a legitimate addition to the American sports market.
I agree with you. I'm with you there, Connor. All right, Connor, one more thing before I let you go, my brother. Well, we're in Miami. They've got like 7,000 picks in the NFL. So you've heard all the talk there. So if Connor Folk is pulling the trigger at number 5 for the Miami Dolphins, who do you think is going to be there and who would you select?
So I haven't seen if many experts agree with me, but I do think Miami goes quarterback at number 5. I would personally pick Justin Herbert out of Oregon. The athletic skill set is off the charts. I really liked his demeanor and his competitiveness. And here's the thing. I've been reading a lot of stories that Tua, a lot of people are worried about the hip. He's having some issues getting through NFL physicals. So the injury history there, the injury possibility there, it definitely worries me. So I think Justin Herbert is the next best quarterback. I think they go there.
Yeah, it's a lot of people are scared with the injury with Tua. So no surprise that you're also a little nervous with him being injury prone. Make sure you follow my man Connor on Twitter at ConnorFolk_XFL. So what's next, Connor? What's the next move for you?
So I'm going to keep tracking XFL players to the NFL, but I'm considering some different possibilities on which way to shift my account. I know I'm going to keep talking about sports, so hopefully I can keep my followers.
You got it, and I'll be one of them as always. Connor, thank you, my brother. Look forward to having you down the line, and we'll continue to talk and stay connected, my friend. I appreciate you.
Sounds good. Have a great rest of your day. Stay
got
safe.
it, my man. There you go. Connor Folk, man. Good stuff there from XFL News Hub. What a shame, man. What a shame. You guys know I was into the XFL. Bill was into it. It was a fun league. It was just a little extra football on the side. I really enjoyed watching some of these, players that were getting opportunities and shining, and it was what a shame, man.
And
What a real shame.
Classy, the way they
Yeah,
paid everybody through.
They did
They
everything.
released everybody so they would have opportunity to get picked up by NFL teams.
Yeah.
I really thought, let's face it, man, they need to connect to the fans. They need that second season. You know what I mean? That way the fans can connect with the
But
team.
there was already a connection.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
But what he was talking about with the Battlehawks, I mean, the Battlehawks were that
That's the
city
St.
was-
Louis group. Yeah, no doubt.
They were behind it big time, and they were opening up the second level.
Yeah.
For the second half of the season, because
Got
they
some
were
really
selling
good
out.
ideas.
Yeah. It was a shame.
Some different angles. Obviously, interviewing on the side, and we talked about the NFL probably not going to do it, but it's a shame, man. And I think in my heart of hearts, the more of these want to start up, leagues and they fail, that at some point it's going to be kind of like, oh man, how many times are we going to do this?
Right.
Well,
it's
going to be
we're already
sour.
there.
Yeah.
We're already there, unfortunately. William Kirk says, let's see. This organization has always approached the draft in a conservative manner. When we took Tannehill, that was the safe choice at the QB position because we had Norv Turner as OC. I disagree with you. I don't think that was safe. You don't take a project at number 8. I wasn't safe. I was risky. I was stupid. I would disagree with you on that. Safe is a running back that's really good at number 8 because that's safe. An offensive lineman is safe. A quarterback is really risky. A project quarterback, that's absolutely really stupid to do that. George says, build the team this year and swing for the fences with next year's QB class will be better than this year's draft class. We will also have a high pick with the Texans' first rounder. There you go. You could be right. You could be right. Let's see. Bromar says, I gave Tannehill 3 years. His first 3 years after blowing chances to make the playoffs late in season 2, I was done with Tanny. You talk about the Bills and the Jets loss? Yeah, I remember that. All you had to do was beat the Bills or the Jets, and you were in, and he couldn't beat either one. 2 bad teams. Dougie Fresh says, question for the guest, which he's off already. He says, which is the one thing the NFL could learn from the XFL? I would go with the Sky Judge. But they're never going to do that because they would have to be transparent. And the NFL doesn't do those kind of things where they're transparent. Alex Lee says trading up for Deion Jordan was conservative, bad decision, but not. Definitely not. No, that was a very. When you trade up from 12 to 3, you're not. There's nothing about that that's conservative. That's really risky. Luciano Fuentes says Tua sucks. Okay. Luciano has or Luciao. Luisao. Is that how it is? Luisao? Is that how it's pronounced? He has spoken. Tua sucks. Okay? He has spoken. Now you know. I don't know if you knew that, but Tua sucks.
Laying down the law.
Yes, he is. He is definitely laying it down right now. And how? All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. Mike Gundy. You guys remember Mike Gundy, right? I'm a man. I'm 40. You know, all that stuff. Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. So he had some coronavirus comments, right? And his listen, the problem with Mike is he didn't live in reality. Now, it's not a Mike Gundy thing. It happens to a lot of people, like I told you. There's a lot of people that have underestimated this whole thing. And Mike Gundy was one guy that underestimated it, and he expected to have his team May 1st in the building. And he goes, I've been made aware of the comments from my press conference have offended some. Gundy said in a statement, "It was never my intention to offend anybody, and I apologize. My first priority is and will always be student athletes doing what is best for the program and the university." Now, let me explain with Mike Gundy apologizing for all of this. Let me explain what's wrong with his stupid ass comments. Okay? First of all, he was a dumbass for assuming that he was going to have his players and everybody on May 1st. That is a lack of awareness of what's going on around you. When the CDC and the government have told you, hey, man, for the next 30 days, we're shut down. So that's all of April. In May, they will start to discuss what to do in May. Oh, we haven't even gotten to May yet, so that doesn't mean you even are free to go anywhere in May. It might be June. But the fact that you're that ignorant, okay? And look, I get that the whole thing with Corona/COVID, whatever you want to call it, it's been politicized a lot. And then a lot of you that are party zombies, right? You're either on one side of the fence or the other side, and then that's where you're, in your arguments, you know what I mean? Which you shouldn't be on any side of the fence because this isn't a political issue. This is a health issue for the world, okay? It's the way we got to look at it. But unfortunately, there are people that are politicizing it, and there's one side that seems to take it serious, and then there's another side that has a whole bunch of holes in it because there's a whole bunch of people that aren't looking at it seriously. And it's not just Mike Gundy. It's all over the world, man. England's in the world of trouble that they're in because they didn't take it serious. Italy's in the trouble that they're in because they didn't take it serious. Okay? We didn't take it serious enough early on either. Happens all over the world. You have people that you know, friends of yours, family members of yours, that continue to compare this to a damn cold. And it's not a cold, right? So everything about what Mike Gundy said, the optics of it, the irresponsibility, the lack of awareness, he was completely out of touch. Okay? Totally out of, you couldn't be more out of touch than what Mike Gundy did. And now he apologizes. And then listen to the apology. I have been made aware that comments from my press conference have offended some. Wow. So it tells you that his initial statement was stupid and ignorant, and then somebody had to tell him, because since his statement is stupid and ignorant, he's too stupid and ignorant to realize that he's offending people. So I've been made aware that my comments from my press conference have offended some. That in itself is an embarrassment, that the leader of your football program, the face pretty much of your university, okay, because really nobody knows the dean. Mike Gundy might be, the head coach of all the major football programs in this country are probably the faces of their schools. So this is probably the most important figure that people know of. Not really the most important figure, but the one that people know. Oklahoma State, name me an administrator, name me a coach, name me a teacher. They'll go Mike Gundy. They probably won't be able to name anybody else. So this is the guy setting your example. And then he follows it up with this. It was never my intention to offend anyone, and I apologize. More like, I don't care if I was offending you. And they're forcing me to apologize. And then he follows up with, my first priority is and will always be the student athletes and doing what's best for the program and the university. Well, if that was the case, then you wouldn't want to risk your kids by putting them out there on May 1st. Hey, our governor over the weekend said, I am contemplating thinking about getting kids back to school in May, because this doesn't seem to affect young people. I tweeted him back. I said, old people teach young people. So the governor basically wants to, make our kids killers, because that's what they are. They're murderers. You do know that, right? You send kids back to school in May, they'll be killing the principal and the assistant principal and the janitor and the teachers and, everybody that's old. because everybody's older than they are. And sure, the youngins might get a little sniffle, and then they got to go home for a couple of weeks, and they'll be back. But their teacher may never come back. Their teacher's in the cemetery down the street. So even our governor, okay, which I thought was doing a pretty good job overall until I saw that comment now. I was like, okay, your ignorance is just, you're a dumbass. Let's just,
the counties in the city saved him, man.
Let's just go and get this involved right now. Let's get the kids back. So this is what's wrong with all of this, is that we have people that are ignorant as hell, and they still don't get this. They don't respect it, man. They don't respect it. Paul Castronovo, sir, I don't know if you're watching or listening, but our thoughts and prayers go out to you. He lost his dad to the COVID-19 virus. And if you follow him on Twitter, and you'll know on social media, but, look for, Adam Cooperstein last week lost his dad, and now Paul Castronovo lost his dad. And these are two men that checked out earlier than they were supposed to. Okay? That's the other thing. Early on, you get this attitude from people. Well, it only affects older people. Oh, so what you're saying is you don't give a rat's ass if older people die. Oh, okay. All right. So when your mom dies, or your dad dies, or your grandfather dies, it's just older people, right? Just chalk it up that way. I mean, that's the cavalier attitude that I got from some. It only affects old people. And really it doesn't, by the way. It affects all ages. Obviously, if you're older, you're more susceptible to it. But young people are dying from this. Single digits, teens, 20s, 30s, they're also dying from this. The thing about this virus is when you get it, you might treat it like the common cold. It might be a lot worse than the common cold, and you might get through it. But there could be that third option, that it just flat out kills your ass. And we don't know who it kills and who it doesn't, and who it's more, because there are people that are dying that are healthy, and they're dying from it. And Mike Gundy wants to, don't tell me that you're worried about your student athletes. If you were, you know how you answer that question, Mike Gundy? This is how you answer it. Well, we're hoping to get back on the field as soon as possible. Once the CDC and the university and the government have all come to an agreement and they feel it's safe for our students, our student athletes, our administrators, our coaches, and everybody to be together in the same room, on the same field, then we'll get back to playing football here at Oklahoma State. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have a date for you. I'm not an expert, and we don't know where this virus stands. Let's just hope and pray for the best. That's how Mike Gundy's supposed to answer it. Because that's the truth. You don't know, and you've got to first show that you care about humanity before you make the statement. When you just say, we'll be back on the field May 1st, I intend to have all my players there, you're not even taking into account everybody's health, including yours, by the way. Which, let me tell you, Mike Gundy, if there's one thing I'd like the COVID to kill on you, is your mullet. 786-322-1105. So if he can, catch the COVID and it just attacks his mullet, I'm good with that. Okay, I don't want to wish COVID on anybody. The one dude that I could have wished it on is already dead. Castro, he died already. So that's the only guy that I would have wished COVID on over and over again. Okay? Outside of that, for Mike Gundy, I just hope there's COVID that attacks his mullet. Okay? That's it.
Interesting. A hair-attacking virus.
Yeah, a hair attack. That's what we need, a hair-attacking virus. I mean, it's 2020. The man has a mullet. I mean, come on. That's the other thing. Think about this. Your head coach has a mullet. I mean, it's got to be in the contract too, right? If I am the AD of a university and I'm negotiating with a coach, I'm going to say, well, there's a couple requirements here. First of all, we don't want you to be a criminal. Second of all, we don't want you to have a mullet. Huh? Yeah, no, that's a deal breaker right there. Yeah, no, the mullet went out with Dwayne Shinsius. No, we can't do that, bro. I mean, that should be in the negotiations for Oklahoma State. No mullets required. You know, for Phil Collins, it was no jacket required. Well, here at Oklahoma State, you should have it in the contract. No mullets required in order to coach our team. I mean, come on. A mullet in 2020. Let's take a break. Back with more right here on the Big O Show.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with zero down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 Pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 Pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We are back. Yes, sir. All right. We take you for, I don't know, a couple hours left, I guess, here on the program. We've got a bunch of things to talk about here. At 1:45, Dave Burkett is going to join us. He's a Lions beat writer. and the Lions are at 3. So a lot of people are wondering, what are the Lions going to do? Are they going to trade down? Is somebody going to move ahead? Will they take 2 at 3? Will Miami trade with them? All that kind of stuff. Folks, don't forget to subscribe. Click and subscribe onto the show. As always, share button. The share button is there, the little arrow. Share it with a friend. Send it to him on text or her on text. And post it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And tell the folks that they can actually get real sports talk every day here with some balls, actually, instead of the fluff stuff that you hear all throughout local radio in South Florida. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's really simple, 786-322-1105. Okay, we got the John Wicks coming in here too. Jess in Minneapolis says, Tua, Stephen Austin. Yes. Also, lineman at 5, then select need going forward unless something ridiculous is sitting there. Keep all picks. I got no problem with that. Big O is highly a bred, longtime fan. Thank you. Let's see. I have a feeling Flores is trying to recreate the Legion of Boom. The greatest defenses were a product of great team building and roster management in order to bring young players in their prime. So he wants Simmons at 5 and Love at 18. Okay. Appreciate that. Love your show, Big O. I agree with most of your recent thoughts about Miami taking a position player at 5. I'm all for an offensive tackle, either Andrew Thomas on the left side primarily or Wirfs or Willis on the right side secondarily. Your thoughts, please. I agree, man. I agree. I'm with you 100%. I'm not going to kill the team for taking Tua because I get it. Plus, they've got 13 more picks. So you just got to go out and kick ass in the rest of that draft. No doubt. Big O, been thinking about who to get at 5. I agree Tua is risky, but I understand if they go that route, if they pick Tua, they will get everything possible to protect him with their other picks. If they don't go Tua, I would love it if they went with Simmons if available. That kid's a game changer. If not, then go Derek Brown. You can never have enough premier defensive tackles in the trenches. If we go tackle with the number 5, I would prefer the Alabama tackle. I want someone who is polished. Becton has never done it on the field. He's all promise-based on his physical ability, but the league is full of guys who have the perfect size who, for whatever the reason, were not able to get it done. I'm a Jumaro. Oh, okay. I see on Twitter. Okay. Just easier on here. How high are you on Becton? I like Becton, but behind the other guys. Behind Wirfs and Willis and Thomas and those guys, I have Becton. But he's in there. He's in that group, just ahead of the Jackson kid from USC. That's where I have him. But I don't have him as the guy at number 5. I know he could be taken at 5 and all that because they look at all 4 guys kind of the same. I've got Wirfs a little bit ahead, and I've got Thomas and Willis too ahead of him. Not by much, by a hair, but I do have them ahead of him. He's probably the 4th guy on my list. Dougie Fresh here. I'm not sure if you've heard a group called the Heartless Bastards. Based on some of the musical preferences that you've shared, I think you would really like them. The lead singer is a woman who stands about 5 foot tall with a voice that could rip ships apart. Anyway, give it a listen. Let me know what you think of her. All right, Heartless Bastards. Damn. That is Heartless Bastards. All right, I'm writing it down.
Why do I think I've caught them on like Fuse or, one of those off, video channels?
I don't know what to tell you.
Fuse is really good for that.
Yes.
Like new stuff.
Yeah. If you haven't seen When the Train Pulls In by Gary Clark Jr., you must see it. Oh, amazing. It's first video on YouTube when the Red Guitar live performs amazing Gary Clark stuff. Thank you. I love Gary Clark. So I could watch Gary Clark all day, dude. All day. Guy is a freaking beast. And thank all of you out there for sending it in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Always appreciate all of you out there for reaching out to us, however it is that you reach out to us, which is appreciated. What else do we have going on the accidentlawfirm.com text line 786-322-1105. By the way, thoughts and prayers to the Tavares Jackson family. The former quarterback out of Alabama State died in a car accident last night at the age of 36. He was the Tennessee State QB coach, second-round pick of the Vikings. And to give you a little something there, because it's always easy for me to tell you, oh, I love this guy, and he ended up playing really well in the NFL and ended up translating. By the way, loved Tavares Jackson. He played at Alabama State. I saw him at the Senior Bowl, I believe. It was in the East-West. I want to say it was a Senior Bowl. Yeah, I think they brought him there because he was an Alabama State kid, and so he was playing in the Senior Bowl. And he was raw, I'll tell you, but athletically, my Lord, I was a big fan of his. But he had a little accuracy issue, and he was one of those players that kind of convinced me that the accuracy stuff just never goes away, and it took me a few years to kind of figure that out. And so that's why you'll see that when a guy's not accurate, you're going to see me like get off his bandwagon like right away and have no hope pretty much for him. Tavares was a great kid, man. He really was. Character was never an issue. Work ethic was never an issue. Athleticism was not an issue. I mean, he could make any throw in the world with his athleticism. He could never fine-tune the accuracy. And he can move around, he can throw it, but he just didn't have the pinpoint accuracy that you needed. And he worked hard, man. He tried. Just the young man could not. Because I believe it's something you either have or you don't, man. I really do. I think aim is something that's a natural thing. And the guy in your neighborhood the guy that's got accuracy can hit targets with anything. A softball, a football, a baseball, a ping pong, a frisbee, it doesn't matter. When you're accurate, you're accurate. It's just you can't explain it. You just can't. You either have that magic or you don't have that skill set. Can't do anything about it. And he tried. And that's one of those picks that I would tell you failed. Second round guy. And that's what I thought he was, a second to third round guy, because he was so freaking gifted. There aren't too many guys that have more athleticism, and he had just an absolute cannon. He could throw a 40-yard strike. No air on the ball. A strike. Now.
Laser, like Warren Moon did.
Yeah, exactly.
He would throw, that ball would be parallel to the ground and just a straight
One difference. Where Moon was throwing is where it was going.
Yeah, well.
Jackson, where he's throwing it, it's not exactly where it's going to go. That's the only difference there for the young man.
I remember that it's preseason watching Warren Moon coming from Canadian Football League and throwing these 40-yard darts. And, that ball just 15 yards over the playing field and just straight line. Like, what? There's no arc.
The more impressive was when he's 40 and doing it in Seattle. It's like ridiculous, dude. Like he goes there and he's 40 and he's still like, wow. Warren Moon was such a freak. And he played 6 years in Canada. It's not like he went for 1 or 2. He played 6, bro.
He was the first professional quarterback to go over the 70,000-yard mark.
Yeah.
And they combined it, of course, with Canadian. But, the guy, we lost out him those 6 years, no doubt.
No doubt. No doubt. Big O, I would go Simmons. Love, best available tackle at 26. Dobbins, Winfield, top 5 picks. The dynasty belongs. Fins for life. There you go. Tyrone is in. Pipe Man Slim says, Big O, if Simmons drops to 5, you pick him unless Burrow is still there. Well, Burrow's not going to be there. Simmons, I think, will be there at 5. I really do. I really do. And I don't mind taking Simmons either. Simmons is a hell of a player. Checking in late, Big O. I'm sticking with my guns and rooting for Herbert at 5. Have a good one, man. There you go. It's interesting that those of you that like Herbert, and I would imagine that it's a lot like Connor that was just with us, that it's just you don't trust Tua to stay healthy, so I'm going to go with the next best guy, and in my book, it's Herbert. Some people will tell you it might be Love. You know what I mean? I'll tell you this. I've told you this before. I'm not taking Love at 5 because of the inconsistencies, and it was so night and day from 18 and 19 that I cannot take Love at 5. As much as I like Love, I like him, but I like him at 18. Okay? And if you have to slightly trade up, I can deal with that, but I can't take him at 5. I just can't. I understand. Again, while I think Tua's a sack of injuries, if you take him at 5, I get it because it's only health what you got to overcome. It's not that you're worried, can he play the position? You kind of feel pretty good that he's going to make the transition. You know what I mean? By the way, I am so impressed that Hannah Storm is like, I think she's 64, I want to say, 63, 64. That woman looks amazing for that age. I don't know how she does it. That's impressive. I know she's an exceptional broadcaster and all of that, and she's been forever, but I just got to give her props on that too, on her looks at that age, okay? Everybody, you all have to agree with me on that, right? I mean, she is phenomenal considering her age. That is pretty impressive. Let's see, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Just to switch gears a little bit here, did you see the public health organization is saying that live events, okay, in a New York Times magazine, they polled 5 public health experts about reopening business and its grim forecast for concerts. One expert predicts won't return until the fall of 2021 at the earliest. Zeke Emanuel, Vice Provost for Globe Initiatives and Director of the Healthcare Transformation Institute at the University of Pennsylvania, was among the experts polled on various aspects of getting daily America life back to motion. He insisted a return to normal functions would have to be done in stages, and it does have to be done with more physical distancing at a work site that allows people who are at lower risk to come back. In his opinion, certain kinds of construction or manufacturing or offices in which you can maintain a 6-foot distance are more reasonable to start sooner. However, larger gatherings, conferences, concerts, sporting events, when people say they're going to reschedule this conference or graduation event for October 2020, I have no idea how they think that's a plausible possibility. Unfortunately, Emmanuel felt that these events will be the last to return, and he looked ahead beyond 1 year, noting that realistically, we're talking fall of 2021 at the earliest. Wow. And by the way, I said it on this show either last week or the week before that these bands are rescheduling these concerts a couple of months from now, and how the hell do they know that they're going to be able to hold the concert? And the other thing that I mentioned was, do they think everybody's going to show up? Because I got to tell you personally, for me, I'm not going to a concert for a while now. I have 5 stents in my heart. I have no choice. I probably have to wait till there's a vaccine. It's the prudent thing for me to do. As much as I love concerts, love going to concerts, okay, we may not be able to go back to a concert to the fall of 2021. How grateful am I now that I went to UFO twice? Huh? More than ever, I am so glad that I made the trek to Ponte Vedra, right? Was it Ponte Vedra?
Point of Verde.
Point of Verde, whatever it is. And then we went to Clearwater.
Just south of
Jacksonville, yes, exactly. I am so happy I went. even with gout.
Did you want? Yeah, that was you.
I just pushed a
You
rock
plugged
through
along,
my
bro.
body.
You plugged along, man. You know.
Told you, bro. I kick adversity in the face, bro.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Did you see the new parameters that they've come out with? And they're thinking that, yeah, to hell with the 6 feet thing. We should probably be spacing at 13.
I don't
feet.
know about that. But
Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I saw something on it this weekend, and they were saying that the way it's looking in this, that this thing can get stuck to your shoes.
So
you carry it into your house with your shoes. How long this thing will last, what it has, the right components, obviously moisture, big helper. And they were like, maybe we should be 4 meters away. And I look, and it's like, yeah, a meter is 3 feet 3 inches.
Yeah.
So it ends up being a little over 13 feet is actually what they're saying.
So what you're
Maybe
telling
space.
me is we got to tell people from now on to take off their shoes when they walk in the house.
I'm just saying, based on the report that I read, that, and let's face it, man, they don't know a lot about this thing.
Oh, no. It seems like every day they learn something new.
Yes, exactly. And we get new parameters set.
Yeah.
Okay? And we also learn about things that, people were being told about this back in January. Back in February, we tried to have meetings. We tried to tell you about it 6 times before you actually did something about it in March. We kind of took it for granted that, you know what I mean? It wasn't going to do this and stuff. And, yeah, the unknown factor, man, that should have been the biggest. That if it's unknown, why risk? Let's, get serious about this. One of the biggest that I'm hearing is this wet market thing in China with these wild animals being with where food is being purchased by human beings. That this separation of wild animals and human beings, this needs to get serious. The rest of the world needs to get involved with this, because this is exactly why the bird flu, you name all these things that have happened over the last 15, 20 years, there's a correlation of animals to human contact, them eating them, and these viruses spreading up and the way they're going, just really bad. And let's face it, man, this is one of these, they only get stronger. The next one's going to be even worse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Radically says, I think people will get used to the risk. Some will wear the masks. Others will just continue on normally, and others won't go. The tickets will have a legal statement to cover the seller. Oh, yeah, but problem is you're not going to get the same attendance right now. There's a lot of people that aren't going to go. And you have to think about this, okay? If you're talking about you're going to go see the Eagles or you're going to go see, a classic band, most of the people are older, and they're not going to go. Most people aren't going to take the risk. It's just – and listen, most of us that have we've seen AC/DC a whole bunch of times. It's older people. So it's not like we have to go to the concert now. That's why I said this a couple weeks ago. I said it, that why are people rescheduling so quick when we don't even know when this thing's going to end, when people are going to be able to go back, when we're going to have big groups. All these concert goers, and I get it. Some of these are being rescheduled because some of these folks already have the tickets. You know what I mean? But for new concerts and new tours and all that, like Motley Crue and Def Leppard and all that they keep rescheduling that big concert that they're all doing, they need to chill, because the people that follow Motley Crue and Def Leppard are older people. They're not going to go to your concert. And you don't have enough young people in your concert. And remember, the other thing is, radically, others will not be able to go into places if they don't have masks on. So that part of some won't wear masks. Well, if they don't wear masks, they're not going, because now they're not even letting you into places without a mask.
Oh, remember also, man, masks are not to protect you from corona. It's not about that social spacing. The mask is to protect you from spreading it.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So it's not protecting you from getting it, wearing a mask.
You could.
Understand that.
You could. You still could. You still could.
The CDC has said flat out, the mask thing is about you having it and spreading it, not you preventing from getting it. That's why they're saying they're afraid these masks might, we can get together now. No, the masks are not for us to take away that spacing thing. Not at all.
No.
We got to continue spacing.
Yeah, but health officials wear the masks, so
They
it
do,
helps.
but they also wear shields and goggles and the whole.
Well, no, they don't normally wear shields and goggles. Now it's shields and goggles. What I'm saying is they've been wearing masks forever. There's a reason why you wear masks. So I just, please, bro. It protects you either way from you spreading it or you getting it, because it's two entrances that are closed up now. So if somebody's spitting and saying something and then it lands in your mouth or you breathe it in without even noticing, boom.
All I'm saying is
with the mask, you don't do it. So
Fauci said,
I know
I
what he
do
said.
not want the mask to think that now we could all get together because we're wearing masks and we have gloves on. No, we need to keep the social spacing.
Of course. But this idea, the idea that you had there, radically that, well, some won't wear masks. Well, then they're not going to enjoy anything because they're not going to be able to go in anywhere because all these places are going to require you to wear masks. You can't go into stores now in Dade or Broward at all without a mask now.
Well, my point is, at a concert, you're 1 foot away from the other person. If you wear a mask or not, that's not the social spacing. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah. No, I know that. So you can still get it and you can still spread it. So that stuff, that's why I'm saying they keep, reorganizing these things in short order and turning it around, and it's just ridiculous.
Right. Like next week, we may have a whole different parameter set that, there's these new requirements now.
Yeah.
Because that's about what it's been. We've been about every 7 to 10 days, and there's a new status quo. This is the standard now,
Mm-hmm. Myron says, I believe sport won't start until there is a vaccine, until it's 100% safe, because if someone gets the virus, they will shut it down again. You might be 1,000% right. Pipe Man
Another
Slim
factor,
says
lawsuits, bro. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pipe Man Slim says, Big O, love the Dolphins talk, bro. Thank you, sir. You'll get Dolphins talk here like you won't get anywhere else. I can tell you that 1,000%. Let's see. Radically says pay-per-view. That won't fly, man. That you won't make that much money in pay-per-view. Let's see. RC in the 305 says that he loves Mike. Okay. So, Mike, there you go. You get love from RC in the 305. Ray says, Big O, I can picture people losing their cool when in a small concert somebody coughs, nonstop, etc. As much as I love going to concerts, I'm staying away for a year minimum. Yeah, I am definitely going to stay away. I have no choice. I have no choice whatsoever. I have to stay away. I really do. All right, let's take a break. It's 1:30 here. At 1:45, we will have a guest join us, Dave Burkett, Lions writer. The Lions are at 3. We'll ask Dave what he thinks is going to happen. I can tell you this. We're going to talk about somebody again in football that was doing something really, really stupid. We got to get into that when we come back on the other side. Plus, we've got a little controversy going on in sports between a couple of players. We'll address that also next.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with 0 down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% 20% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right. You know, some of you like listen, but you don't pay attention to the show. Like one guy sent me this. He goes, "Hey, this video published within the last hour. Nick Wright makes some very valid points, and if true, I'm wondering of this news increase likelihood of Cincy being willing to trade him, and if it reduces the leverage in what they expect." No, stop already. Okay, it's all stupid. It's all a waste of time. It's Nick Wright filling time. Okay. I like Nick Wright personally. I got nothing against him. Anybody trying to justify Joe Burrow, you're just filling time. You're not talking about anything with substance. They're drafting Joe Burrow. It's over. Stop with the stupidity already. Okay, I don't know how much more clear I can be. I don't know if maybe what you're looking for is more insults. Say if you want me to like take it to the next level and tell you exactly what you should do with
All of it's for craps and giggles.
I mean, it's just
right?
it's just ridiculous, dude. It's just ridiculous. It's stupid. Yeah, it's stupid. It's just plain ass stupid. Don't know how much more I can say, but it's plain ass stupid. They'll be talking about that. Dak Prescott is a freaking moron. So Dak Prescott apparently held a party for about 30 people. And if this is true, Dez Bryant was there, which, again, Dez isn't necessarily the brightest bulb in the chandelier, but he'll do anything to get a job back. So he's going to go kiss Dak's ass and try to see if Dak can convince the Jones boys to sign him, which it's not going to happen. But we know Dak, he's been working out with other players, all sweaty and putting his arms around other guys and stuff like that. So that makes all the sense in the world right now to be doing that, of course. So Dak Prescott and Dez Bryant, despite orders to stay home, they work out in a public gym. Despite orders that it should be closed. It's hard to imagine reasonable minds differing on this. According to TMZ, Prescott hosted a birthday party for a friend Friday night, and at one point, 30 people attended, and one of the photos posted at TMZ shows the background, a cluster of bodies far closer than 6 feet apart. The photos also include a table set for a meal that would have entailed everyone sitting elbow to elbow. Oh, and by the way, they're passing the food around. You know that there's one main spoon on each of the dishes. You know that each of them grabbed that same spoon to serve themselves
That's
food.
called a serving spoon.
Yes, and guess who's grabbing that serving spoon? One person after another after another. It's again, this is not. It's not a male thing. It's not a female thing. It's not a Republican thing. It's not a Democrat thing. It's not a color thing. It's not a sex thing. It's not a religious thing. Although some people made it a religious thing yesterday. But it's just overall stupidity and ignorance. And it happens all over the world. And there are tons of people that still aren't taking this serious. And because you're either rich or famous, you think you're above it too. And that's what you're getting from Dak Prescott. Because he's rich and famous, he's above it. So he can get away with it. That to me, none of this. By the way, Ezekiel Elliott was there. So Zeke and what's it called? Des Bryant were there. Wow. I mean, really. Just absolute stupidity. And can you imagine if there's a breakout from that party now? It's going to happen. Guaranteed it's going to happen. Somebody is going to, get sick from all of this. And when they do, that's when they're going to be pissed off. I'll tell you. All right, 786-322 1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Rudy Gobert. Now, I want to get into this one because I'm not sure. Do you have the Rudy Gobert sound there?
Yeah, we got 6 minutes. Are you going to be able to do it justice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Rudy Gobert, he was on an interview, and he was with Taylor Rooks from the Bleacher Report, and he was on her podcast. So remember, Rudy Gobert is the guy that was the first coronavirus athlete that triggered the NBA to shut down and all the rest of the leagues to follow after that. Gobert acted like a complete moron, touching everybody's, cameras and recorders and all that stuff on the table. And treating the virus. He didn't know he had the virus at that moment, but he was treating it, loosely. And then he ends up testing positive, and Donovan Mitchell. And listen, neither one of those guys, they don't even know where they got the virus, I'm sure. They don't know who gave it to them or what. Maybe they do. I don't know, behind the scenes, whatever. Who knows what happened. But clearly things between Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell are not good, right? So Taylor Rooks did her job by asking, hey, what's the latest with Rudy? Rudy, what's the latest with you and Donovan, right? And listen to this. I want you to listen to the explanation, and I'm going to pick apart that explanation. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. Go ahead.
Have been very close. I know the team in general is incredibly close. Is there any truth to these rumors that are going on right now that you all's relationship cannot be saved and you aren't speaking and all of these things?
It is true that we didn't speak for a while after this, but we did spoke a few days ago. And, like I said, we both ready to go out there and try to win a championship for this team. It's not about being a professional, and, everyone got different relationships. Everyone got, it's never perfect. Married people that are married, it's never perfect. So, me and my teammate, no, it's not. It's far from perfect. But at the end of the day, we both want the same thing, and it's winning. And, and we both grown men, and we both going to do what it takes to win.
Now, you listen to those comments, and he talks about, professionals, and we know what we need to do for this team. We're ready to go out and chase a championship and try to win. He never said, oh, man, me and Donovan are super cool. We talked about it. We laughed about it. I apologized. None of that ever was said. They're not cool. Okay? Things are not right between Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. That's a problem. That's going to linger now. And I know that the Knicks from the early 70s, the saying was 12 guys, 12 cabs, and that you don't need to get along and all of that. But I got to tell you something. Have you been around millennials? They are really touchy people. And I don't think they can compartmentalize like that. I don't think they can do what the Knicks can do or did back in the 70s. I don't think they can do what Kobe and Shaq did for a while until they just couldn't stand each other, and then you had to break them up. Okay? You know, I hadn't gotten into that Shaq story I wanted to get into last week because Shaq really has exposed himself with this Kobe death stuff in a bad way, by the way. But anyway, that's for another day. But you look at Gobert right there and listen to those statements. And he was just talking about that. Hey, yeah, we spoke a couple days ago, and we're ready to, move on, and we know what this team needs to do, and we're ready to go chase a championship. I didn't hear any camaraderie there at all. I didn't hear a guy that was comfortable talking about Donovan Mitchell as a friend, as a teammate. And like I told you, I don't think young people handle this kind of thing very well. I think you're going to hear something whenever this offseason happens that one is going to need to be out in order to keep the other happy. And here's the other thing that I came away from this. If they haven't made up yet, okay, if Donovan Mitchell, yes, I know we got to go. If Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert have not made up yet, one more thing I'm thinking about. Maybe Rudy Gobert is a horse's ass all the time. Maybe he is a goofball all the time, and Donovan Mitchell has kind of had enough of it. And then that was like the nail in the coffin, the way he acted about the coronavirus. That's the only thing I wonder about this. Because you think about it, okay, he screwed up, he didn't act the right way, but man, only this one incident that Rudy screws up, and that's going to hurt and damage your entire relationship? That's kind of odd, dude. Right? You're battling every day, you're playing with each other, you're now been playing for a couple of years. The one incident, I get it, that Rudy didn't handle it the right way, and that's it. You're gonna cast him aside. Then that means you either have a really short temper and you have no tolerance whatsoever, or Rudy Gobert is a constant a-hole, and that this was like, okay, enough's enough, dude. I can't take this guy. I guess kind of like Whiteside. It kept going Whiteside, and eventually guys were like, enough with Whiteside already. Like, I'm tired of this clown. I'm just wondering. That's what I came away with. All right, we got the NFL draft coming up. The Lions pick number 3. Dave Burkett has been covering the Lions for a long time. He's a great insider for the Lions. We'll find out from the writer with the Detroit Free Press if they are picking or are they trading out? And is Miami moving in? Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
Sometimes I feel like...
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with 0 down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% 20% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, I promised you we're going to switch gears here. We're going to talk a little NFL draft with Dave Burkett, who does an excellent job of covering the Lions for the Detroit Free Press. Lions are at 3, Miami is at 5. Let's find out what the Lions are going to do, because Dave Burkett has, he has mics and everything inside the war room, inside the homes. He knows exactly what Patricia's going to do. And of course, Dave, good afternoon, and thank you for the information and breaking the news right here, what the Lions are going to do at 3. Thank you, sir.
My bug to the draft room isn't going to work this year with everyone at home, so we'll see. But let's you play Dolphins GM, I'll play Lions GM. We can make it happen right now.
Let's do it. All right. So at 3, what do you start getting? What kind of a feel? Are they going to stay there? Are they really willing to move down? How far are they willing to move down? Because, too far away may not be the player that they, or the kind of player that they're targeting. What are you hearing right now, Dave?
No, I think they would like to move down, and ideally, that 5 or 6 pick, I think, makes the most sense. I don't see them dropping out of the top 10, because they're in a position where they think they can get a really good player to help their defense, and maybe that same guy that they would take at 3 is there at 5 or 6. Look, I don't know what the market's going to be, though, because how badly do teams want to go up to get Tua or Justin Herbert? Is Tua's medical bad enough that both teams, both the Dolphins and Chargers, want Justin Herbert? I think there's still enough questions about the quarterback position and the health of Tua that it sort of, it clouds that trade scenario a little bit in what the Lions might be able to do. But if a trade is there, I would expect the Lions to move down a couple spots, and then at the end of the day, they still come out with Jeff Okudah, Isaiah Simmons, Derek Brown, one of those 3 players, sort of the second tier of elite defensive players in the draft.
And Dave, you were never buying this whole thing that they were going to try to get 2 at 3 and trade away Matt Stafford, right? Because that right there would get Patricia fired, right? I mean, that would make no sense there locally.
Well, no, I'll tell you what. There's 2 different things. Trading away Matt Stafford, no, that wasn't going to happen this year, right? I mean, he's still got 3 years left. He's playing at a really high level last year before the back injuries. But that said, and you're right. Trading him, Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, they both need to win now, and trading him goes against that. But drafting Tua, if Tua's healthy, if your doctors sign off on the medicals, if your scouts agreed with the media, that he's this elite quarterback prospect, I understand why a team would make that move, even a team like the Lions that needs to win now, because look, Stafford's 32 years old. He's never won a playoff game in Detroit. It's been 11 seasons, and beyond that, he's had broken bones in his back the last 2 years. So the way to build in the NFL is with a cheap young quarterback. You can do so much else with your roster there. Maybe Stafford gets traded after the season. I understand that philosophy, but just through my reporting, I've gotten no indication that the Lions are going to go that route.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't make any sense at this point. And let me ask you, where do you stand with Tua? Because with the Dolphins here at 5, look, I get it if they take it, Dave, because they've got 14 picks, so you got 13 more to go. You can still have a great draft and swing and miss with Tua at 5. So for them, taking that chance is a lot less of a risk compared to everybody else. But having said all that, I love the kid, but I don't want him because I think he's going to break down constantly, because that's what he's been. And And to me, if that's what you show me in college, I think eventually that's what you are in the NFL. That's been my history overall. So where do you stand with Tua?
Right. You're playing behind an NFL caliber offensive line with NFL caliber receivers, and you're still suffering these injuries in college. I think that leads me to believe that those are going to be a problem still in the NFL. And, if it was an ankle, it'd be one thing. If it was just a hip, maybe, but I think everything combined, there's definitely enough red flags that it's easy for me to sit here in this chair and say, yeah, take him, right? Take this quarterback. I think he's a really good player, and look what he did in college. And, he checks off all these boxes you want as the face of the franchise. But I know by nature, these NFL general managers are a lot more conservative, and their jobs are actually on the line. So as I try to put myself in their chair, I might go Herbert instead of Tua for that reason.
If you're at 3 and you're making the call, Dave, who are you going with for the Lions? Who do you think is the best fit right now, the biggest need, Phil, right now?
Yeah, every single mock draft I've done, I've given them Jeff Okudah so far. I just think from everything the Lions want in a cornerback, a guy that can play press man coverage, he's willing to tackle, he has that love for the game that Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn want in their players. Jeff Okudah checks off every single box. And, I think he's, just from talking to people, it seems like he's about on equal footing as a prospect as Isaiah Simmons, who's a unicorn of a player, and Derek Brown, who's a better, interior pass rusher than anybody the Lions have on the roster. So you could make a case for any of those guys. And ultimately, I think that's why they'd like to move down from 3 to 5 or 6, because they're comfortable with any of those guys. And then you get an extra, pick or two in the top 40, that makes complete sense. But right now, if the Lions stay at 3, I think Jeff Okudah is the guy that fits the roster best.
Do you think Okudah's still there at 6?
Yeah, it's a little more of a question. I think, just from some talking to some people across the league, I think Isaiah Simmons might be the guy the Giants want at 4. And so if he is there at 6, I could see it. I mean, if they trade down with the Chargers.
Miami's not going to take him at 5 because they have the 2 corners. They're not going to do that.
And the Chargers would be trading up to get a quarterback. So obviously, I think you could get an Okudah at 6. So that's, again, it makes sense. If the Chargers are giving you their second round pick, number 37, maybe something else, or maybe something next year, I think that's a move the Lions should make.
That's interesting. So let me ask you, what do you hear from Miami and the Chargers at all in interest in moving up to number 3?
Yeah, look, I think there's interest. I mean, Bob Quinn has said for 2 months now that he's open for business, right? And it's natural that these guys talk. But are they talking on the level that they're going to complete a deal here? When Thursday comes, next Thursday, and the Lions are on the clock. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. And I don't. Maybe the Lions will have to take less than value, because again, if the market is not there for, if both these teams like different quarterbacks, or if the Chargers, they don't have a ton of draft capital to move up with, I don't necessarily see Miami bidding against itself. So I think a deal happens at the end of the day, if I'm guessing right now, that one of those teams wants to enough, or wants to make sure it gets its quarterback enough to move up, that a deal happens. I just don't know that the compensation is going to be what Lions fans right now envision it could be.
Dave Burkett does an excellent job covering the Lions for the Detroit Free Press. You can follow him on Twitter for you Lions fans out there at Dave Burkett. So, Dave, what's the feeling for Patricia? What's the fan base feel? Because I got to tell you, from afar, I'm still figuring out why the hell Caldwell is not the head coach. I thought he did an excellent job there. Meanwhile, this guy can't do half the job that Caldwell's doing. So I'm wondering, where are Lions fans with Patricia? Are they buying in? Are they off the bandwagon already? Where is he right now with the fan base?
Yeah, you sound like a lot of Lions fans right now, wondering why Jim Caldwell's gone. No, I think this is the year, right? If they don't make the playoffs in all likelihood this year, then he's gone, and maybe General Manager Bob Quinn is too. I mean, you don't make a change from a coach that made the playoffs 2 straight years and won 9 games in the year that he was fired, and then win 9 games over the course of 2 seasons and have much room for error, and look, there's year 1 was terrible off the field, right? Just players and Patricia didn't get along, the locker room not harmonious in any way. It was a step back on the field, but it was more about what happened off the field. Last year was better in the locker room, but it was worse on the field. And there's some reasons for that Matthew Stafford was hurt, but the defense was abysmal. They just didn't show, many signs of they like to point to the fact that they had a lead in 7 of these games at halftime that they lost. Well, some of that falls on coaching too, right? So I think a lot of people in Detroit they're disheartened by what's happened the last 2 seasons, and they need to see a lot of wins before buying in. And ownership has made it clear that they need to see those wins too in order for Matt Patricia to get a year 4 as Lions head coach.
Dave, just out of curiosity, last year when Patricia's like slamming, and I don't know which writer it was that apparently wasn't sitting upright, I'm just wondering, what were the conversations in the press room after all of this? Because here's a guy that shows up in a tracksuit every day with a pencil in his ear and a bird's nest growing on his face. And he's like the last guy that should be picking on the appearance of somebody else. So I'm just wondering, how'd that conversation go in the media room?
Oh, it's great because now we get to razz that reporter about his posture all the time too. So, but no, it's you know how it is in the press room.
Oh
but,
yeah, relentless.
Yeah, that incident, like a lot of what happened, in 2018, was about more than just that one incident. That was the buildup of everything that had gone on. Really dating back to the spring when the reports came out about Matt Patricia being accused of sexual assault when he was a student in college, and that was just 5 months of anger built up in that one outburst. And so I think Matt Patricia met with a lot of the reporters both individually and as a group after the season, and as I said, last year was a little bit different. I think both on the field, how he treated and engaged with players, and off the field and how he interacted with reporters. So, cooler heads probably prevailed in the end, and people, we were all left to agree that, we all need to hit the reset button on that one. But no, in the moment, I think we all were kind of shocked. And like I said, it gives us good fodder to go after one of our colleagues now.
That is awesome. That is good stuff. All right, Dave, as always, man, I appreciate you taking the time and dropping the knowledge, man. And I know you're really busy right now, and you're slammed, and you're driving around all town and covering all kinds of events right now. So how have you handled this whole thing being in quarantine?
It's mostly the same for me. I mean, right, aside from the owners' meetings and maybe a trip to do something on a draft guy, I would have been working out of the house anyway. So hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot. But sitting in my office here right now, looking out at a very quiet street in my neighborhood. But no, look, it's a weird time for everyone, and obviously a very serious thing going on in the world.
Yes.
So, you be safe. Everyone out there, be safe, and hopefully, we get back to relative normal here before too long.
We'll get it done, man. We'll get through it. And Dave, as always, thank you for taking some time. Stay safe, you and the family out there, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate the insight.
You got it. You too. We'll talk to you again.
You got it. There you go, Dave Burkett, man. Great stuff as always. Lions writer for the Detroit Free Press. Always love doing that. All right, it's 2:00, man. We've already done 3 hours. That's amazing. Let's take a quick break. It's been 3 hours. We did 3 hours of talk already.
Just sailing along,
3 hours
singing our
of
own
talk.
song.
I got like half the stories left. All right, let's take a break.
Hey,
I got some stuff I want to talk about.
Remember,
Yes?
Monday is a repeat of some game, and basketball is a repeat of some game, and Major League Baseball channel is a repeat of. It's great to have all those channels like I do, but during, what are the ones that interest me the most? Ken Burns doing historical stuff. His documentary stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, they had a really killer one on the Black Sox.
Yeah.
And going really in detail.
Of course.
Other than that, man, like you've said, man, it's hard to watch.
Well, I've been watching movies with the wife like crazy, and then I also watch music and stuff like that on YouTube, and I started watching like all kinds of different like weird programs on YouTube, like abandoned the strangest abandoned places in the world.
The Vice. That's Vice's show.
No, it's not Vice. It's all
It's
kinds
not
of
Vice?
No,
It's just randoms?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just randoms, but all
Vice
kinds of
had a show on that exact topic.
Secrets in Disney World, and like all kinds
All
of
the
like,
hidden Mickeys and all that
yeah,
stuff.
but like other things like that you never
They
realized.
say
in
the
Disney.
underground, man, to
Right,
go
the
to the
tunnel and all-
underground, like
Well, they show
see the inner
there's
workings.
Somebody has video on that. They have it there on YouTube. They showed the video of the underground
Because they
tunnels.
said that's like a whole nother Disney World in
Yeah.
and of itself.
Well, what I learned was that the tunnels are built on sea level. Disney World is built above sea level. Did you know that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Florida, yes, definitely.
No, but I didn't know the tunnels were at sea level.
At sea level.
You would think they're under, but they're not.
Well, you've seen all the construction.
that
They're like a
means-
high man. They went in and gutted everything
I know,
out
but
and
then
built
that
up.
means you put the whole damn park on top.
Yeah. Well, you got to.
pretty impressive. I
It's
didn't
like
know that.
it's like most any airports in Florida and stuff. They're built above sea level because they want the rain to run off.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. But it was just weird. Like I never realized that. So yeah, I've watched that because YouTube is awesome for
You
that.
watch
can,
the
like,
tunnels. Is it mostly to expedite getting this character from one side of the park to the other,
or trash,
okay, to get
trash or moving, or you so you don't see the
trash
employees
moving
and
around,
all.
right?
And actually, there's certain slots. You'll see once in a blue moon, you'll see a guy changing the trash, but it's rare. Most of the trash cans are sucked down from the floor. There is a release under that brings the trash.
So you don't even-
you never even see the trash ever taken
Well,
out.
the way they have,
But not all the slots have been. So they've had since they've built and extended the park. And there's a couple of trash cans that literally have to physically be removed.
Of course.
But most of the trash cans are taken from under. I didn't know that.
I
these-
never noticed that, but
Never knew that either.
whenever I'm anywhere, and like you see trash around and somebody grab it with the quickness, I call it, oh, this place is like the Disney World standard. Trash is only allowed to be on the floor for 5 seconds.
And it's against the law or their rules that the people in costumes can never, ever, 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 ever say a word. Ever. Nothing. Mickey, Minnie, Daffy, whatever, none of them will ever say a word. They cannot. It's against the rules.
There's been a couple. I'm sure you've had all the times you've been. You've had a couple interesting.
Only Eddie Murphy. Only Eddie Murphy does that.
I can remember. Minnie, grad night. Me and her. I'm gonna take a picture with her and like, hey, you're looking good. This and I like flicked my tongue at her and stuff, and she like, like bashful, put her hands up like, oh,
right,
no.
right, yeah, won't
but
say
not
anything.
to say anything.
I can't
There
say
was
anything.
another one. My girlfriend's daughter, being 3 years old. This is so awesome. We're over by the teacups area and stuff like that, where you usually see the characters in that room to take pictures. It's Mickey. So we walk up. She's got her autograph book, the whole thing, and she's got all the, Disney World stuff on and whatnot. And literally walks up to Mickey and like a Frisbees it to Mickey. Like,
okay.
I'm not getting near you. Here, dude, catch, you know? So, like, I'm like, hey, and he, like, puts up his hands like, I don't have the option of grabbing it. Do you not see these dumbass gloves I have on? Like, Dad, chime in here. Pick up the freaking book. But, yeah, she Frisbees it to Mickey.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, they're so that was fun. I was watching videos with all kinds of Disney facts and all that stuff, and how whatever the river country is still abandoned, and this and that, and all that other stuff. And so yeah, it's all because river country can only hold like 4,000 people, so that's why it did not have a longer shelf life, and that's why they had to build Blizzard Beach and all that good stuff. So yeah, things like that. So that's what I've spent my time like watching music or funky videos or movies or all of that. And I'm kind of like Dave Burkett, man. This life, it hasn't changed much for me outside of the concerts. Really, that my life hasn't changed that much. Less concerts, no concerts actually, and a lot less money. Well, that's the one thing that we have to.
You and the wife would go out to dinner. on a that other component.
Yeah. But there's not, again, that's all right. I mean, that's not something that we do often. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It hasn't changed too much, but I know it's changed for a lot of people out there. All right, let's take a quick break. Hour number 4 is next. I got a couple more things to get off my chest. Let's take a break. I got some sound, too, that I want to share with you guys. Also, some funny sounds, because there's a certain person that wants to sing about their privates. Yeah, we'll do that. Hour number 4 next.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with 0 down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yesterday, I was watching Channel 7. I was watching Sports Extra with Mike DePasquale, actually. Shappy was not in, and Mario Cristobal was one of the guests there, and obviously they talked a little Justin Herbert, and Mario obviously talked up his player.
You know, the Dolphins have spent an extraordinary amount of time over here, our facility, for the last couple of years, but so has everybody. Everybody's been here to see Justin and watch him practice, see him in a film room, see how he conducts himself, the type of presence he has, and of course on game day. So Justin is the best I've been around. I've seen him take a team that was 4-8 upon our arrival and lead it to a Pac-12 championship and onto a Rose Bowl championship. And I've seen him just be a real deal guy that can change the face of a program. So at 6'6" and a quarter and 232 pounds, I could sling it like him and runs like he runs, and made of that stuff he's made of. I couldn't push for a better guy than him as being a candidate to be somebody's franchise quarterback.
And listen, Mario has to say that because that's his player. He's not going to trash him in public. He's not going to say, well, you know, the kid lacks maturity. That's why he had to stay last year for an extra year, because he lacked the maturity and he's grown up a little bit and all that, but he's not going to tell us that. And so he did the responsible thing. He did the right thing. He's got to recruit other kids, and those kids got to know that the coach has their back. You know what I mean? The parents have to know that the coach has their back, and so that's where all of this was very understandable. Okay, now, we talked a little bit about this last week that, NFL people have told me that because of the conservative way they run their offenses there, it's also hasn't put Herbert in the best light. But if you watch those games, there have been moments where Herbert really has to kind of elevate himself, and he hasn't been able to. He hasn't been able to elevate himself or the people around him. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's a nice little fluff moment. You know what I mean? With Mario, but I got nothing but respect for Mario. He's one of those guys that, like a lot of fans in years past, I've pulled for him to, come here. I knew he wasn't because it's the University of Miami that doesn't want him here for whatever reason. When he left Alabama, I think he burned some kind of a bridge there, something along those lines. I'm not exactly sure, but still, just. Look, I understand him pulling for Justin Herbert. I understand him defending his player. But it's hard to defend when you watch Justin Herbert play. And what's really hard to do is to justify him at number 5. Because Justin Herbert never really had any of those kind of moments that you say, whoa. Okay, that's a stud quarterback. That's a guy that put the team on his back. You just never saw that. And some of his best plays have been running plays lately, especially like in the bowl game. And the one touchdown he threw, the guy was all by himself. He's the kind of kid that because he's so clean, you want him to be good because he's really not going to be a bad kid. He's going to be a really good kid. Overall, he's going to work hard. He's a really freakish athlete. But there's a magic about being a quarterback. And in the Senior Bowl, by the end of the week, people were putting out he did a really good job and showed leadership qualities throughout the Senior Bowl. And brother, that's not the week to show any. No leadership is really going to come out of that when you've never had it. Okay? And just because he was cool and got along with guys still doesn't mean that he's kind of an introvert, that he's not the guy that is going to command respect in the huddle and things like that. I still go back to the bowl game where he is crying. Okay? Not that there's anything wrong with showing emotion. We all get to do it at one point or another. We have to do it. We have no choice. But it was almost like he had lost it emotionally from winning that bowl game. And there's a couple of linemen that go by his teammates, and they, tap him on the shoulder, put his arm around him, like, "Yo, yeah, man, all right." And the offensive linemen who won the same game as him, they're stoic. And I'm kind of looking at some of his teammates, going, "You're the quarterback, dude. I need you to be like those guys. I need you to be stoic." He's losing it like he's, an 8th grader. Moving from one state to another to go to another high school and misses all his friends. So I don't know. It was too emotional for me. And I need my quarterback to be wired a little differently. Like, I know that same moment happens and there is no chance Marino's crying. Like, none. Okay? Marino's wearing the Oregon jersey. They win the Pac-12 and all that. And Marino's like, all right, yeah, let's rock. What you got? You want an interview? All right, let's go. We'll talk. Yeah, we're happy. We won. Yada, yada. Boom. Move on. There's no way he's crying. Crocodile tears and all. No, get out of here, bro. Just there's something in him that I see that it doesn't convince me. Now, I've told you this. If they take Tua at 5, even though I would disagree with it, kind of like it's the whole Hassan Whiteside thing again. I disagreed with Whiteside, but I understood what they did because they were afraid that they might have had something and they wanted to cover their ass, right? The Dolphins have 14 picks. You spend one of them on Tua at 5. You have 13 more. I get it. I may disagree with it because I don't think he's ever going to stay healthy, but I get it if you're the Dolphins. You hit on it, you got yourself a franchise quarterback. The kid somehow by freak stays healthy, you win big time, right? All of us win because we're Dolphin fans. We would win big time. And if he fails, well, you had 13 other picks to make this a great draft. And I think most people, I would imagine, most people, even injured, they would understand it as long as you kick ass in the rest of that draft. And you know me, I would take a second quarterback if you're taking 2 at 5. So you have 12 picks instead of, 13. But that's fine. 12 picks is a lot of picks. Find a way to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do if you're the Dolphins. Now, something else developed in that interview, okay? I know. I'm going to stir it up now. All right? I'm going to stir it up. Something else happened in that Mario Cristobal interview with Mike DePasquale. Now, Mike obviously is very comfortable with Mario. He talks about how he knows him for 15 years and how Mario sent him some Oregon stuff and everything to wear, right? So at the end of the interview, here's Mario Cristobal thanking Mike DePasquale for doing the interview.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for being the host for this segment. I appreciate that, man. God bless. Take care.
Thank you, Mario.
Let me play one more time.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for being the host for this segment. I appreciate that, man. God bless. Take care.
Thank you, Mario.
Was that by chance because they get along, or because thank you for being the host of this segment?
For creating a layup.
No, I think
layup of questions.
No. The questions were going to be fluff anyways, but that's not the point. My point is, and Mike asked everything he was supposed to ask, so there's no real fluff or anything to it. My point is, does Mario Cristobal hate Steve Shapiro? I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Because the way he phrased it, I'm just wondering.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for being the host for this segment. I appreciate that, man. God bless. Take care.
Thank you, Mario.
Thank you for being the host of this segment. I appreciate that. That's kind of odd that he would phrase it that way.
You normally don't. Hey, I'm really glad your counterpart wasn't there. I'm so glad it was you.
Right, because Shappy was off last night. I don't think I saw Shappy at all. I can't say I saw every minute of it, but I saw most of it.
It's funny. I was watching the same thing, and I caught it about the same time, and I saw what's his name talking about, I'm not going to Vegas and blah. But,
yeah.
I'm probably going to be with
Rosenhaus,
one of my clients. Blah, blah. Shut up.
Yeah. And so, what's it called? I just, man, let's hear that one more time.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for being the host for this segment. I appreciate that, man.
I'm just saying it.
I think you might be onto something here,
I
bro.
don't know.
Your detective.
Did Shappy piss Mario Cristobal off at one point or another? I don't know. I mean, hard to piss Mario Cristobal off because he kicked ass at FIU. I know that they kind of went awry towards the end, but, it's more Pete than anything else. What's wrong with that program? We all know that. Come on, everybody knows it's Pete. Give me a break.
You know what? Maybe the fact that never extended a job to him in this, and
yeah, but what does Shappy have to do with
but I'm
that?
saying, asking, how do you feel about Mario? This, that, and I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Maybe
everybody's asked him that.
He pushed. Maybe he, and they're like, hey, man, how many times are you going to ask me the same question? Get out of my face.
I mean, really.
I appreciate you. Thank you for being the host for this segment. I appreciate that, man.
I'm just saying. I don't know what happened there. It's just odd to phrase it. You don't have to say that if you're Mario, right? You just say, hey, man, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Really enjoyed the interview, man. Look forward to seeing you again. That's it. But when you say I really
there's a reason that he said There's a reason he said that. You're onto something here, brother.
Just saying, I don't know that. It's kind of odd, man. It's kind of odd. Oh, you know what I've been doing? Learning to play the guitar. Best decision I made. I regret not learning earlier. That's what Nico's doing. That's pretty cool. Red Angry Cuban says, see there, I draw the line. Don't touch my picks for next year. Let's see. I guess he was talking with somebody else. Red Angry Cuban says, kids are built different now, though. Softer for sure. Oh, softer by miles, dude. Miles. XTCX says, happy 420 month. Yes, sir. Happy 420 to you. Now, is that XTCX? Are you a fan of the band XTC? I'm just wondering. Are you king for a day? You know, are the senses working overtime? I just want to know. Just want to know. Michael says, this is heavy-duty shade by Mario. Isn't it? It sounds like shade to me, dude. Danny Johnson says, hey, Big O, do you think a Hurts or Fromm late second round would be thinkable? I am not a Hurts or a Fromm guy. I'm the wrong guy to ask. Okay? I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. I love him as a human being because the kid is just a phenomenal human being. I think he's a gimmick guy at the next level. I think if you get him, he's your backup that you use, you know, like what they do with Drew Brees and Taysom Hill, that kind of stuff. If you want another Taysom Hill, that's what you get this kid for. I'm not a believer in him. And I think Fromm's a backup. I think that's what his ceiling is, backup or really mediocre starter. Because you have 32, so he could probably become a back-end starter, but really mediocre.
He's not even 28. He's like 30, 31, 32.
Yeah. He's just mediocre. The guy that I would take a chance on in the second rounds to third is actually Jacob Eason. He can't move. He's a freaking statue. But he has got a gun that can make any throw possible out there. He doesn't have enough tape. He's still raw. He still makes mistakes. That he's still not fundamentally, sound completely. But man, the ability on that kid is awesome. Outside of, you can't do the RPOs and, boots and waggles are going to be a challenge for the kid because he's just not a great athlete. But he can throw the ball, man. That's a kind of project, you know what I mean, that I don't mind taking a chance on in the late second, third rounds. That's the guy. But I'm just not a Fromm guy, man. And I'm not a Hurts guy. I don't believe in either guy. I wouldn't draft any of them. Let's see, what else do we have here on the Danny Johnson says, I like Eason also. Yeah, I just think Eason's one of those guys that you got a shot. You got a shot at. 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, that's 786-322-1105. We get on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, the word is that Snyder is set on Tua and Rivera's pissed off. The picks will go like this: 1 Burrow, 2 Tua, 3 Young, 4 Wirfs, 5 trade back with the Raiders. They want Herbert. Well, if that happens, it is what it is. But I got to tell you, you're at least you have, you can get Simmons there. You can get a tackle there. There are still some really good players to stay there at 5. But I get it. I wouldn't want Herbert, so I would trade out. And if the Raiders want it, then you'll pick up extra picks from the Raiders. That would be pretty cool.
I like the idea of trading back and then taking Love in a spot that he's not at that benchmark like you talk about that He needs to be a plug and play.
Yes.
And you pick up something for doing that as well.
Yes. Yeah, I get that.
And like you said, if all those quarterbacks go and you know the guys that are going to be that those tackles that are the top 4 or 5 guys will slide, and we should have one there sitting for us at 18, right?
Well, you hope. But yeah, that would be good because the Giants
the Giants
are the one team that could also take a tackle, and that would then start the run.
Right.
And if you get past the Chargers, then at 7 starts the tackles or 8 or whatever, then you've got a chance at maybe one of them lasting to 18.
Exactly what you're
Maybe.
talking about. Because, I mean, we see all the mock drafts and on Google News. I mean, I get 3 or 4 of them a day, and just to take a look at. And some of them have been cool enough and said flat out, look, I'm only doing this for craps and giggles, to do something, you know what I mean? And like scenarios, and throw it out there for entertainment. They tell you straight up. Other guys are all, this is what's going to happen, and, trying to be all official like they got some inside info. But I have seen a couple mocks, man, where literally 4 tackles go off the board. Bam, bam, bam. One, like from 12, 13 to like 15.
I get it.
Like one behind the other.
I get it. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. It still doesn't mean anything to me.
Of course,
These
but
mocks, I just-
exactly what you said. Once one goes, you know how
There'll
it
be a
is.
run. Yeah,
It's
that's how
kind
it
of, if
always
you
is.
ever played fantasy and drafted,
Same thing.
there's once one go, man, there's a frenzy, and the run starts.
No doubt. You have do you have the sound that we need here? Jordan Fish.
Funny, haha. Yes, I do.
Yes, Jordan Fish is with Bring Me the Horizon, the band. And so everybody's trapped in this whole pandemic thing, right? And we're all, inside our homes and all that stuff. So Jordan took to social media and wanted to express something that he wants to write about because he's got something that's kind of bothering him a little bit, right? So let's hear from Mr. Jordan Fish from Bring Me the Horizon on what's the new thing he wants to write and sing about.
Sometimes I feel like I've got all these lyrics to, I've got so many lyric ideas and I can't express them because, he's the main lyricist and he's so good at it and all this stuff, but, I've got stuff I want to say. I've got my own problems, you know what I mean? I've got long balls, saggy ball sack. It's just got longer and longer as time's gone on. I'm 34 now and I've got a lot to say about it, distended, sagging down, and my penis is small. Sometimes I feel like I want to write a song about some of that stuff, but it's just all about him, me, front man. It's like, well, I want to talk about my balls.
My inferior penis. My inferior penis. Inferior penis. My inferior penis.
I'm the fucking foundation, you know what I mean? I'm here just to support. He's down the middle, I'm just there, proper stabilizers, you know what I mean? Hey!
My inferior penis. My inferior penis.
My inferior
My inferior penis.
My inferior penis.
My inferior penis.
Oh, das ist mein inferior penis.
Au, 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 mein inferior penis. Ah, scheiße, mein inferior penis.
Mein inferior penis.
I love it. My inferior penis. There you go. So bands are so bored now that they, one guy's noticing that he's got a extended ball sack and an inferior penis, and now he wants to write about his inferior penis and his extended ball sack. I saw that yesterday from Bring Me the Horizon. I just had to I had to laugh a little bit. I mean, come on. It is kind of funny. Like to sing about inferior penis.
This ranks right up there with chopping broccoli.
I love that. That is freaking awesome. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. I got a couple other things that I want to get into here on the program before we let you go. We got Tiger King tonight, by the way, on TMZ. Fox, 9 o'clock, TMZ, as a special program on Tiger King, their investigation into all of that. All right, we got a couple of other things NFL-wise that I want to get to. We'll do that on the other side. When we come back, let's take a quick break. Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with zero down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 Pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 Pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
I don't know how many of you were watching some television yet. Well, I mean, how do you not watch television nowadays? We're all locked up. You got to have television on. But I got to say, I saw one of the most amazing things yesterday on television, and that was Simone Biles. Did anybody watch her do her handstand and take off her sweatpants? Yeah. The girl did a handstand, and with her legs, she pulled off her sweatpants. Never breaking from the handstand. Never losing the balance whatsoever. I mean, that was awesome. That was super, super impressive. I can't say enough about that, dude. How cool that was.
You know what I feel like?
Did you see that thing?
No, I did not.
You did not see that?
No, I did not, sir. Sorry.
Oh, my Lord.
You know what this is
that
reminding me of?
So freaking
Let
cool,
me take
dude.
you back. Remember Breakfast Club? And they're talking, what can you do? And I could tape all your buns together. This
yeah. And the
and
lipstick
Claire,
thing.
everybody could do something.
Right.
This girl can take off her pants while doing a handstand.
That was, I mean, dude, that feat of balance, to be able to do that was, wow, that was impressive. Because, listen, most of us can't even do a handstand. And if we do one for like a half a second, and we flop right over.
Most
and
people
blow
use a
out
wall.
something.
They go up against the wall
Yeah.
and use the wall for balance.
And you still won't be able to hold it. You're going to fall off, or your arms are going to cave in because there's no way you can hold it up that long. You know, that kind of stuff. Man, that was impressive. I saw that yesterday, and I was like, wow. That girl is as talented as it gets. Now,
She's been practicing that, by the way.
That is the
How
greatest.
to take her pants off.
That is the greatest gymnast on the planet. So it's kind of, you got to kind of take it for granted because it's like, okay, well, remember, that's the greatest gymnast on the planet that's actually doing this, not, some schmuck like you and me or something doing this. You know what I'm saying? So I just, I thought that was just so impressive when I saw Simone Biles do that. I could not stop watching it. RC in the 305 says, okay, Wirfs is my pick at 5. Dolphins need to be smart and not desperate for a QB. That's what Myron says. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Roger Goodell is going to be making his picks from his basement. And I would imagine that the question is, whose basement's going to be nicer, Cuomo's or Goodell's? Because Cuomo's got a nice basement. When I've caught Cuomo at night from his basement, I got to give him credit. He's got a nice-looking basement, okay? He's got the kind of basement that you're like, okay, this guy, he did it right, because normally basements don't look like that. You usually don't put that.
That is not your typical basement.
He put some work into that basement. He made that basement a place to hang out. I'm used to the basements from that 70s show where they're all sitting around a wooden place and everybody's smoking joints. That's kind of what you want your basement
There's a
for.
washer, a dryer,
Right, that's
some
it.
canned goods, blah, storage, whatever. Maybe
That's it.
half bath.
That's
maybe
it.
a half bathroom so you don't have to run up the stairs, right? That's about it.
A smell of moisture.
Yes.
Damp,
yeah.
yeah, that dampness that's there. That's the kind of, that's the real type of basement that you're looking for.
The worst television in the house, maybe.
For sure. It's the one that you rotate out. It's the last TV goes to the basement. That's if you even have a TV in the basement. If you have a TV in the basement, you're really lucky. I know nobody has basements here in Florida. I get that. Although, don't you feel like we got ripped off? Like when you go up north, they have a basement and an attic. Because when I would go to my cousin's house in Jersey, in Passaic, every summer, I stayed up in the attic. That was an extra room. And then in the basement, they had the washer and the dryer, and they had all the other stuff. A regular basement. It wasn't really a hangout room, but you could hang out if you wanted to. Maybe a workbench or something was there, something like that.
It's where we stayed as kids.
Yeah.
Always up north. When we were up north, we stayed in the attic, per se.
Right.
But there was usually a window. It was not that closed in. It was more like that classic, here's the window, you could open it type of deal.
Right.
And a lot of times, the two beds, one of the beds would be at the slant, right, of the house, of the roof. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Of course, of
So
course.
Don't
Yes.
sit straight up if you're tall.
Sure. Hell, up north, they will have rooms under the staircases sometimes. I mean, they get crafty up there. For us, it's like we never wanted to build damn basements. I guess because of hurricanes and floods and all that crap. No?
Dude, you only dig 4 or 5 feet anywhere in Florida, you're going to hit water.
No, that's true.
The option of having something underground does not apply here, bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually, it may not fly. You may have to, it may have to be like thick-ass walls of concrete. The only way you're going to be able to keep all that stuff out. That's true. That is very true. So Roger Goodell is going to announce it from his basement. Okay? Monday morning edition there, Peter King reported that Goodell will be announcing the selections from the basement of his home in Bronxville, New York. A memo Goodell sent last week telegraphed that he'd be home when he wrote that the league staff would be operating in separate locations outside of our offices and when the first round kicks off on the 23rd. Players will be selected, will be at home as well, and 58 of this year's top prospects have been sent cameras that will capture their reaction to being picked. ESPN NFL Network are putting together a joint broadcast of the draft that's going to air on both networks, which is pretty cool that they're both working together. I'll give them that. I mean,
guess who's doing a bunch of remodeling in their basement as we speak?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they have somebody there, man. By the way, Connor is just sending me a note. Connor Folk, who was on earlier, the XFL just declared bankruptcy. So, gone. How about that? Now you know they're not coming back. Now there's no chance that they're coming back. What a shame, dude. What a shame. That thing has cost us everything, man. That's just absolutely brutal. I got to tell you. That absolutely sucks. So my man is going to be making his picks. So we can't feel bad because a lot of us will be watching from our basements. The Goodell will be making the calls from the basement. People all around the country. Look, man, let's just get the draft going. That's all. That's all we want. The entertainment, the fun. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be absolutely awesome to do this. I mean,
I saw somewhere where they had an 11% increase in viewership last year, and I think they were somewhere around 6.6 million.
Well,
now, I'm going to guess they probably averaged over the 3 days, and that's what they
they're
did.
going to crush that
but
now.
What would you say, man?
I don't
Because
know.
it was 6.6.
10 million easy. If it was 6, easy 10 we'll be watching this year. 10.
Not double? You're not going to go out there and
I don't
say
know.
double?
Go ahead. You go with double. Well, that's fine. At least 10. I wouldn't be surprised.
We are so starved for something new.
And every football fan is just now counting the days till the draft on Thursday. That's what all of you are doing. That's what I'm doing. We're all doing the same thing. We're all counting every single day until we get there. That's exactly the way we're looking at it. There's, it's the only entertainment we have, man. That's our problem. It's the only freaking entertainment that we have sports-wise. I mean, yesterday, I just told you earlier on the show, the horse thing was going, I couldn't watch it. It just was like, really, dude? I'm just, so I'm going to watch horse? Forget it, bro. And I passed up on it. I said, I'll watch the highlights. I'll watch ESPN and let them put the whatever little highlights together, and I saw the highlights. There was no way that I was going to sit there and actually watch that.
Can I tell you? Because I watched, like I said, the last 20, whatever it was, okay, to the end, going into ESPN SportsCenter. And then SportsCenter did the recap of that. And I just, bink, that's where I ended up watching, what's his name? Dave Hyde, 7 Sports.
Oh, okay.
Because I had left because, like, you're going to, I just saw 20 minutes.
Dave Hyde was on Channel 7?
No, what was his name?
I didn't see the whole thing. I might have missed a little bit. I was going, I must have missed Dave Hyde. Who are you talking about? Di Pasquale?
Pasquale, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're terrible with
Dave
names.
Pasquale.
You are so terrible with names. It's amazing.
When I think of Pasquale, I think of the Italian place back in the day in Hialeah that was so good.
What place was that?
Di Pasquale's, man, on Red Road. You don't remember that?
It was called Di Pasquale's?
I'm pretty sure, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't remember
The
it.
Italian place that was there forever by Red Road where the, down from the canals where the dogs were always stored for the dog track.
I don't remember the place at all.
Yeah, man.
Somebody out there, if you know the place he's talking about, maybe he's mispronouncing it or something. But I don't remember it at all. I don't remember it. Nope. All right. It is, you know what? It's that time to wrap it up here on the program. Yes, it is time for us to go home and to say, well, I am home. Somebody was asking, oh, you don't have your gloves on. I'm like, I'm home, bro. This is the home studio. I don't wear gloves at home.
You don't have to glove it up indoors at your own home, man.
No, dude. No,
if you do, you need to look for a new home.
Yeah, that's bad.
You need to go get a bunch of cans of Lysol and just douse the place.
Yes, big time.
Oh, speaking of which, little info. Remember, Jose was the one that told us that from VSS. Supposedly on the can of Lysol, when you spray down a spot It says to leave it there for 10 minutes
Yes.
so that it actually does what it's
Work.
supposed to and kill. That's via Jose from VSS. Read the can, check it out to use it right and get the job done and kill the germs. Leave it for 10 minutes.
That's right. And visit our guys at VSS West Pines in Pembroke Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road. So if you're looking for any CBD products so you can relax, go visit Jose and all the boys out there. They do have Clorox wipes. They have toilet paper. They have paper towels. They have hand sanitizer also. So you can get that. You can get maybe you need a new water pipe while you're hanging out at home. Papers, rolling papers, all of that. They've got also, what's it called? They've got the e-juice for the e-cigarettes. They've got the disposable, what's it called? Those things are called disposable, whatever, e-cigarettes, right? Yeah, that's what it is, disposable e-cigarettes. And they've got them in singles and in 3-packs because I know the 3-packs are really popular with the folks that use them because they always tell me that. So they've got all of that and a ton more at the store, 12397 Pembroke Road. And call them 954-613-3367. That's 954-613-3367. Go to the website, vsswestpines.com. We thank all of you out there for tuning in like you do every single day and supporting us here on the program. And, of course, we thank all of our amazing sponsors. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell other folks to subscribe, all of that good stuff. Appreciate it as always. Whether you're downloading, we're well over 1 million. Whether you're watching, we've got over 1 million minutes in the last month. All of that. I can't tell you how much we are grateful for your amazing support. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. We'll have some fun tomorrow. You guys be good out there. We'll have plenty of sports talk for you.
Be safe, please.